Hey, welcome back to another Let's Talk About Movies, where I, Stitch1993, and my wife Shelby
Hi, everyone.
talk about over 1,300 movies that we own physically on Blu-ray, DVD, and eventually on VHS. Now, if you notice, we skipped last month, and you want to tell the story of what happened?
So, I broke my ankle. I was in a lot of pain last month. I was pretty decently medicated because, I'm trying to repair a whole bone. And if anyone wants a good laugh at my clumsiness, I broke my ankle on a curb.
Yep.
I basically just fell off the curb between a sidewalk and a parking lot and felt a pop, then heard a pop, and went down hard. Two random dudes from the gym had to help us get me in the car, and then a nurse had to help get me out of the car. I could not put any weight on it, and yeah, I'm still healing, but I am semi-functional, so
Right now, as we're recording, she's still in a boot there. But yeah, so because of that, we are gonna wrap up our drama section of movies. So this video will be a little bit longer than usual because, of course, we skipped last month due to Shelby being incapacitated, and so that way we can start off the new year with a new genre. And so starting off is going to be Philadelphia. You want to start this one off since this is one of your movies that you grew up with, kind of?
I didn't see it till high school.
Okay.
But I do love it. I think this is my favorite Tom Hanks movie, which I know is an unpopular opinion because it is a very depressing movie. But the performances in it are so strong and so well done. And it does tell a pretty important story because this was 93, I believe.
Yes.
And we really weren't getting any stories about the AIDS epidemic and how it was affecting those around you and how it could happen to anyone.
Yeah, because he's a lawyer?
Yeah, he's a lawyer.
Yeah.
But, this was the early 90s. Coming out as LGBT was still a huge taboo.
Well, isn't the story based off of an actual person in the 80s?
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
I don't know if it's based off of one singular person or if it's kind of a conglomerate of a lot of different stories.
Which one makes sense?
But it's one of those movies that I do think everyone should see once. One, because it does tell an important story. Two, the performances are so strong. I think this is not only my favorite Tom Hanks performance, but also my favorite Denzel Washington performance. He is fantastic in this because he does show that, he holds prejudice against him because he's a gay man with AIDS. Because Tom Hanks' character is a gay man with AIDS. In the movie, but it doesn't stop him from doing his job.
Right.
He is going in it for the money because he knows this is pretty much what should be a pretty much slam dunk case because it's clear discrimination. But over time, you see him to actually start to care about Tom Hanks' character. And I also believe this is the first time that I was introduced to Chandra Wilson, who plays Miranda Bailey in Grey's. I believe she plays Denzel Washington's wife.
Yeah, I believe she does.
So it's just like so many of my favorite things, so many of my favorite actors. Antonio Banderas is in this. He is Tom Hanks' partner. They do show what Tom Hanks' family life was like growing up, and he does come from a supportive family. So it really is to show like this can happen to anyone in any situation with any kind of family life. It wasn't just what everyone at the time was assuming was going on, where it was really just people who were gay with no support or who were substance abusers. I saw pretty much the whole way through this movie, especially the ending, because it does not have a happy ending, guys.
Now, I remember because you said you watched this in high school, you said the teacher made y'all listen to the song that Tom Hanks really gets into halfway through the movie.
There's an opera piece. There's a whole opera scene where Tom Hanks' character is he's really passionate about it, and he's really describing the feeling in it, and it is a very emotional piece, like most opera songs are. I don't remember the exact storyline for the piece that was going on, but the scene itself is just very beautifully shot and very beautifully done. The lighting is fantastic. They did a really good job as the movie progressed, making Tom Hanks look sicker and sicker and sicker. So he's he's about as sick as he gets before he goes into the hospital in this scene. Like, he's looking very gaunt, very just weak, but still able to get this passion through. And I think this is also right around the time that Denzel Washington's character starts to turn and starts to really care about him as a person. But it's a very beautiful moment in the movie. And then also the movie opens with one of my favorite songs, because it's Bruce Springsteen's Streets of Philadelphia. Gorgeous song, so well done. It really sums up the entire crux of the movie without telling you the exact plot of the movie, which I do enjoy when movies are able to do that. It was either nominated or won Best Original Song at the Oscars that year, which,
nice.
Fair, it's fantastic. But yeah, I think this is one of those movies that everyone should see once. Pretty much every Tom Hanks movie, especially like his 90s movies, kind of fall on that you should see it at least once in your life list. But this is my personal favorite.
For me, it's kind of hard to nail down my favorite performance of Tom Hanks, just because he is got such an array of characters, and he can do both dramatic and comedic,
and family
friendly, and to some degree hateful, depending on who he's playing there. So, I mean, like, if you had it, like, gun to my head, I'd do Toy Story, but if I really had to sit down and think about it, I don't know which one I'd be actually absolutely, this is my favorite performance. But this is still, like all of his performances, a class act there. And yeah, same with Denzel Washington. Yeah, and I got introduced to this through Shelby, probably less than a decade ago, maybe 5 or so years ago.
We watched this during basically I just needed to cry. I just needed a movie to cry. I was having like a really rough day. Mm-hmm. But most of my I need to cry movies were a little too silly, I would say. Mm-hmm. And usually most of my I need to cry movies are ones you really just don't like. And we were trying to find something to watch together, so I was like, why don't we watch Philadelphia? Because I'll get my crying out, and it's a really good movie, and it's Tom Hanks, and you're just like, sure. Say less.
Yeah, so, I mean, pretty much everything Shelby said I agree with. It's definitely one that you should check out, along with, his other filmography. But if this is one you've skipped out on, and you just don't think you would get into it, I would still say at least give it a watch once there. Next is Perks of Being a Wallflower. I have a couple issues with this one. Outside, of course, this is back before that one actor turned out to be,
This is Ezra Miller at his best before he went off the deep end, which is why I still feel okay watching this.
Yeah, but, like, this is... I think this is based off a book here.
It is.
So it's probably, more of the author and just writer and stuff. But, like, and I get it, this probably, when we get to Shelby's thoughts, she'll probably say more of what the general consensus is. I feel like this is just a very generic kind of movie. It's like all the characters are very tropey. Like, I've seen, they just happen to be, like, they pulled all these different types of characters into this one movie and had them converse with each other. But I'm like, all these types of, the nerdy kid that doesn't fit in, but he finds a group of also outcasts, and they all also are kind of nerdy, but in the same way. And then he falls in love with them, and it doesn't work out, and there's a whole weird, not love triangle, but will they be friends afterwards or not kind of thing. When I saw this, everybody was just like, oh, this is so unique and original and creative and stuff. I'm like, I feel like I've seen this movie like a dozen times already. This was well acted, but it's like not one I would really recommend to anybody. If you like this sort of film, you've probably seen other films like it before and after. But yeah, and I know I'm the minority in that thought.
You really are.
I know, but it's just when I'm just like, as soon as I saw it, I just kind of rolled my eyes in so many scenes because I'm like, of course we're gonna do this now. There, I was just like, the only thing that I was like, okay, this is different. This makes it I kind of stand out. Was the whole backstory to the main character. I'm like, all right, that sucks. And I know this is probably why it reminisces with a lot of people, especially of this generation, for the age of when this movie came out. It's like, I get it. That's probably the reason why a lot of y'all enjoy this. But everything before then, I'm just like, we've seen this before. Some of these actors and actresses have done this character before. To better, to worse there. But I'll let you have the more common thought piece on this one.
Okay, so I do thoroughly love this movie. Not only is the cast really good, but the cast was also very recognizable for me.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so Logan Lerman, this is one of his standout performances for me. He does Charlie really well, really earnestly, especially when we get further into the movie and you start seeing not only his mental health issues, but where they stemmed from. And when you get to the end where they show him in the facility and rogue Joan Cusack, which I love that the adult characters are pretty big name actors that are put in there, but they're not the focus. You have Joan Cusack, you have Melanie Lynskey, who does play the aunt, who does some very unmentionable things to Charlie. I also appreciate it that they very obviously hint at it, but they don't show any of it. Because a lot of movies would show it.
Yeah, I am glad that they were, I guess the word would be tasteful.
Yeah, well, they were
not showing it.
They were respectful to the victim.
There we go.
And I did really appreciate that as somebody who has had issues with that particular topic before. Yeah. So, even though the movie makes me sob my eyes out, when you get to that scene and you see, he has the typical sibling issues with his siblings, but when he actually starts going through it and he calls his sister to basically say goodbye and she starts you see that sibling connection. She knows exactly what's going on and she's like, somebody get there and get him now. And his sister is played by Nina Dobrev, which at that point in time, she was most well known for Vampire Diaries, but I know her from Degrassi. I don't care about Vampire Diaries. I know her as Mia from Degrassi. So seeing her kind of going back a little bit to her Degrassi roots for this role was fun. Not fun for me, but just welcoming. Mm-hmm. And then, Kate Walsh is playing his mother. I love Kate Walsh. I absolutely adore her. I don't really care so much about the actor playing the dad. He's one of those actors that gets confused with another one all the time.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, yeah.
But the teen characters that are the standouts, as they should be, and then Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd as the teacher is fantastic, and for me, what I think makes the movie stronger is because this adaptation was directed and screenplay written by the author of the book.
It was.
So they were able to stay faithful to it and stay faithful to the themes of the book because they had the writer on set and trying, to adapt it without making it too preachy.
Yeah.
I would say it does a good job of getting its point across without being preachy, which a lot of these teen movies, if they're trying to tell a story like this, they get preachy with it. They do have a lot of scenes where the kids are just having fun and just being teens. This is probably one of the better post-Potter performances from Emma Watson.
I would think it's probably the only good post-Potter performance.
I mean, we didn't see Little Women, and I heard she was really good in that, but that's just because I understand the artistry of that version of Little Women, but I am just not a fan of the non-linear storytelling of that story. But, without seeing that particular performance, which everyone was saying she was a fantastic Meg, this is her stronger post-Potter performance.
Yeah. To be fair, she is kind of playing the same character, though, to a degree.
A little.
Just not as book-smarty side, but still the kind of, I'm the quirky girl.
I really did enjoy Mae Whitman in this, who plays the girl Charlie was dating for the longest time. Even though he was more interested in Emma Watson's character. Mae Whitman, I don't care what she's in. She's always fantastic. She's always fun to watch.
I'm trying to think of other stuff she's been in that I've seen.
You know her as the voice of Katara.
Oh, shit! That's right! Hell yeah!
But Mae Whitman is always a joy to watch, and she's always fun. And she does do teen very well.
She does.
I mean, her other project before this, between Avatar and this, was the show Parenthood.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she's fantastic in that as well. So it was kind of fun seeing all these actors that I recognize, for the most part, doing roles that aren't really that close to what they were really known for doing. Like, Kate Walsh is the mom in this, and her most famous role, still to date, is Addison Montgomery in Grey's. This is like the exact opposite of her character.
Fair enough. Alright. Another movie. Okay, first, I will say the good things. This is fantastically acted. I didn't... this movie is the Precious 2008 film. I think it's the full title is technically like Precious, based off the title book Push by Sapphire. But I believe this is what, I'm not sure, but the actress that played Precious, Gabourey
Sidibe,
did she win? I know she got nominated for Best Actress, but I'm not sure if she won that year.
I don't know if she won, but I do believe Monique won for Best Supporting.
Okay. And she did a really good job, too.
Oh,
but,
man.
Like, this entire film is just, like, a bunch of, for the most part, unknowns just giving their all, and I'm like, hell yeah. Oh, and Mariah Carey's in this, but you will not know that it's Mariah Carey. Like, the whole time watching this, I'm like, oh, this is a really good actress. Why is she not in other stuff? Looked it up. Holy crap, that's Mariah Carey. What are you doing singing?
Watching you discover that was Mariah Carey during this movie was the most fun I've ever had watching this movie. And because this movie's not a fun movie, but it is.
No.
It is one of those movies that is also an important, everyone should see it at least once.
It's one of those movies that's like, it's probably on a lot of, 500 or 1,000 movies to watch before you die. And I agree, it's one of those. But it's also kind of one of those, you kind of just need to watch it once and then, like, never again. Because it is just like... and this is where I have issues with the movie. It is one of those movies where it's just like, this person that's in a crappy situation and just keeps getting crappier. And I get it. That does happen a lot, and it is unfortunate and stuff. But, like... at some point, it almost gets like, I don't want to say comedic, because it doesn't get comedic, but it does get like...
sad it's funny?
So sad, like almost parody level of like anything and everything that could go wrong with this character does, and I'm like...
But especially with women, that is how life goes a lot of the time.
And I get it, and I totally get it, and I get that this is what the movie is saying, and I'm getting that this does happen to a lot of people all the time. When this movie came out, before and still after, totally understand that. I'm just one of those people, I'm just like, after you kick the horse down, and just like, the meme from Simpsons with little kids like, stop it, it's already dead, kind of thing. I'm like, stop it. We already feel sympathetic for this character. You don't have to keep. And I was like, well, maybe this is just what happened to this person in real life. Then looked up. No, this is an entirely fictional story based on a character that never existed. It's just and the writer just kind of pulled. I guess some stories are just based off of stuff that other people have told her, and then other stuff she just it's just all kind of whatever there. So I was like, get really well acted, great film, but on the other hand, I'm just like, holy crap. It's like there's only so many things you can make to make a character sympathetic, and like, because she has literally everything crap happened to her. It's like she's in a crappy situation with her family. She's but she's not homeless, but she's like borderline homeless because her mom kicks her out of that house, and she makes her like The mom uses the money that for child support to like buy her own stuff, so she has to fend for herself, and she has to like steal food and stuff and just kind of do whatever. She gets teen pregnant like more than once. I think she gets SA or whatever at least once, if not multiple times.
It's multiple.
And then stuff starts picking up because she gets in with this. It's not a halfway house, but it's like
an alternative school.
Alternative school there, and stuff starts picking up, but then stuff goes wrong there, and stuff starts going downhill again, and then you find out she has AIDS, and then also the mom, and then the mom gets AIDS, like her mom gets AIDS, and then something else happens, and I'm just like, you could have just picked a couple of those, but again, I get it. It's kind of a, I guess the writer or whatever wanted to do all that in one kind of thing there, and I get it, but I'm just one of those people who are just like, you don't have to keep doing this, that, and the other to this one person, because after that, after a while, it just feels like, because it's not based off of an actual person, there, it kind of gets to it feels kind of like, not torture porn, but like close to that in a way, kind of thing. I'm probably not making much sense here, but I'll let you talk about it.
This is another one of those if I need a good cry movies.
Yeah.
It's not one of my silly ones, because I do have a good collection of those. But this is another one. The performances from the cast are fantastic. Mariah Carey, girl, do some more acting.
Even Lenny Kravitz.
Okay, this was the first time I saw Lenny Kravitz act, and I have been a fan of his acting ever since.
Yeah, like when everybody, the Game Awards happened a while back, like Video Game Awards happened a while back, and Lenny Kravitz came up on scene. I saw people like comment online, it's like, why is Lenny Kravitz there? And just like, well, he did voice acting for a video game, and I'm just like, he's a legit actor. Like, he can act.
Like, I know, back when the original Hunger Games series came out, the first three, everyone was freaking out for, like, Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson. Don't get me wrong, I love them. But then they announced Lenny Kravitz was in it, and I was just like, say less, I'm here, let's go.
Yeah.
Because he impressed me so much in Precious. And I saw Precious pretty soon after it came out. And basically cried the whole time.
Yeah.
But it is another one of those, you should see it at least once kind of movies. The performances are so well done. It is like, I wouldn't say like parody level gritty, like when people say gritty kind of movies, they expect it to be like Batman level dark, like physically dark.
No, it's not. It's not.
But it's gritty. Tonally gritty.
It's very depressing. Very depressing.
But it's so well done. It's just, I love it.
Next is The Queen, and it's an okay film. This takes place during is it leading up to and during the death of Princess Diana.
It's the effects of the death of
and
Diana.
Just kind of what the Queen Elizabeth was going through at the time. There, I'm not sure how much is like made up and how much is from actual like real life events of what the Queen was going through and discussions being had and such there. So I don't know, but it is Helen Mirren, and it's like, I mean, outside of all the actresses that played the Queen in The Queen, or not
The Crown.
The Crown. I think she plays that part very well, in my opinion.
Well, because Helen Mirren can act her way out of a paper bag.
It's freaking Helen Mirren.
It's Helen Mirren.
And then all the supporting cast is fine. I don't really have anybody that stands out to me. Really. But yeah, it's a nice little time. I will say, for the person that they got to be the Prime Minister,
Michael Sheen.
Yeah, that is like the closest you can get
to Tony Blair.
Yeah. And like, it's Michael Sheen.
Michael Sheen's fantastic in everything
but
he's in.
But he has such a small part in this. But he really puts on and really gets it down to because the dude was alive when this happened. So pretty sure he was either a teen or adult when it happened. So this was all pretty. This came out in 2006, and that happened just 20-ish years prior. So it was still
not even. She passed in the 90s.
Yeah, well, that would have been 20 years from No, I'm sorry.
Nope.
10 years. My bad. It only been about 10 years or so, at least. So it is pretty still fresh in everybody's minds. So, everybody was able to pull, from actual. We have, a whole bunch of interviews and TV news spots with Tony Blair in it. So, of course, he's able to just kind of watch those. Who knows? He may have been able to he wasn't prime minister at the time the movie came out, I don't believe. So he may have been able to sit down with him and get more of if he was really going into trying to get down the nuances of his role or whatever. But either ways, he did a really good job. So if you want a film that is, if you like The Crown and you want more of especially that time period that the last couple of seasons kind of take place in, I would definitely recommend checking this film out.
This is another one that I really enjoy the performances in. With our drama section in particular, it's going to be a lot of we like the performances, but the movie is sad.
Yeah.
So when we say we enjoy this movie,
that's what drama is.
Yeah. When we say we enjoy this movie, it's not that we watch this for a good time. It's watching it. It was a good movie. It wasn't necessarily fun, but you did leave the movie feeling satisfied or impacted in some way. I will say with this one, even though the performances are fantastic, it did feel a little skewed towards favoring Queen Elizabeth. I will say a lot of the things, at least public facing, going on between the royal family and Diana did not look good for the royal family. So this movie definitely kind of feels like a fix-it for the royal family.
And I don't know if that was on purpose, if this was somebody just really wanted to tell the story and just happened to just be, because that's kind of what a lot of stuff was at the time. Whereas nowadays we kind of have a much more clear picture.
I think what makes it a little more clear now is the fact that we are living in a 24-hour news cycle now.
Yeah. And whereas back then you really only had
the headlines
and the evening.
It was easier to PR situation then.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if that was the case with this movie or that just happened to be how the movie came out. The Crown did it better.
Yeah. The Crown is going to tell the story better.
Yeah.
Even though it is still a little skewed towards family.
Raise your voice. Okay, so when I was saying that I've seen the perks of being the Wallflower characters in other movies, I was talking about Raise Your Voice is one of them. Because this one came out first, and even though I saw it later, I'm just see, this is one of them. This is one of those movies where I'm just all the characters who are in Perks of Being Wallflower are in this movie.
Fair. Only the trauma for this one is different.
It's different trauma. It's different
trauma.
As I said, back when saying Perks of Being Wallflower, that was new, but everything else I had seen, and honestly, if I had to choose between the two movies, I would pick Raise Your Voice.
I know why, because you're a huge Kat Dennings fan.
And it's got Robert Downey Jr. in there.
No.
No?
Oh, you're thinking of Charlie Bartlett. This one has John Corbett.
Oh, that's right. I'm thinking of Charlie Bartlett. But still, with this one, it's still some of the same character tropes as it's just, as you said, different trauma. Still well acted. This is the only thing I've seen
Hilary
Duff in that wasn't Disney related, I think.
No, you've seen Cinderella Story. That's not Disney.
That's Disney-ish. it's very Disney. Cinderella, come on. But yeah, I enjoyed this. It's still got its dramatic pieces in there, but yeah, you grew up with this one.
I did grow up with this one. So what got me to watch this movie was not Hilary Duff. Don't get me wrong, I am a Hilary Duff fan. But it was like being talked up to by one of my friends because I hadn't seen it. I was like in middle school. And her selling point was it has the dude from What a Girl Wants in it, which is Oliver James.
Yeah.
So I was already sold. And then she's like, and her teacher is the dude from A Big Fat Greek Wedding.
That's right.
So I was like, okay, say less, I'm sold. And I get there, we start watching this movie. It is pretty well done. They do get you with that trauma right at the beginning.
They do.
Spoilers for a 21-year-old movie. She and her brother sneak out of the house to go to, I believe, a 3 Days Grace concert. And on the way home, they get hit by a truck and the brother dies. And she's in a coma and wakes up to her brother already dead and buried.
Yeah.
So her parents are now, especially her dad, are now overprotective because it's the last remaining child. There were already issues between the dad and the brother right before the brother died. It was a whole big to-do. And then she wants to go to this music summer program, and her dad doesn't want her to go, so she convinces her aunt to let her fake staying with the aunt so that she can go to this music program. And it's the heyday of three-way calls and trying to trick the parents. Of course it doesn't end up working for very long. The parents end up finding out. They show up at the big end of the summer event.
The dad has a change of heart.
Of course, because it's a 2004 teen flick.
I can't even say I like this movie because Kat Dennings, because she's a minor character in
She
this.
is, but she's still one of my favorite parts of the movie.
She has some funny lines in there and stuff, but I'm like, this is definitely not a Kat Dennings movie.
It's not. I do really find it fun, like when you're watching the movie, you can hear when Hilary Duff is actually singing and when they have somebody else dubbing over Hilary Duff actually singing.
Which is weird, because Hilary Duff can sing, so...
Except for when they're doing those classical pieces.
Right, okay.
When she's doing her own singing, the voice is weaker, it's breathier, it's more like pop girly.
Yeah, it's how she sings.
Which is, there's nothing wrong with it, she's got a good voice. But if you're gonna have that part of the movie, especially the part where, like, she's supposed to be showing up the other girls in class by, like, kind of nailing this big part of a class.
I can do better.
Yeah. Maybe get someone who could do what you're wanting them to do.
Or at least train Hilary to do those parts. I don't know. Maybe they did, and they're like, and the producers were just like, we want it to sound a different way, so they had to dub it because the producers or executive producers wanted them to do it. Or maybe it was the casting really wanted to do somebody else originally, but they're like, Hilary Duff is a hot item right now because she's got the show and the albums and stuff, so we're going to put her as this. So, but the script was already written with somebody else in mind. So who knows what would have been going on behind the scenes there. And there might be behind the scenes stuff. I didn't watch it, but yeah, it is what it is.
And there is like one little part of this movie that felt a little refreshing for a 2004 movie, and it's when Hilary Duff is working with the one-on-one voice coach. And she isn't like, so for people who have never done choir before in their lives, don't fully know how to like engage your diaphragm or anything, he's trying to teach her how to do that. And because she is a teen girl in the mid 2000s, it was not okay to look chunky at all. So he's explaining to her, you know, you have to use your core, you have to use your diaphragm. It's okay to look fat. You're gonna like pudge out a little when you're pushing for those notes because your diaphragm is working with your core. And he's trying to get that across to her. So he literally just tells her, it's okay to look fat. Which I was like heavy in my choir days at that point. So like little 11-year-old me like internalized that, and it helped.
Yeah.
Because all the other girls in my school choir were more concerned about how they looked on those risers because there is nowhere to hide on those. So they're all like sucking in and like holding their breath while trying to hit all these notes. And I'm just like, I don't care, I'm letting it all hang out. And it does help. It did end up helping. So thank you, Raise Your Voice, for helping me in my choir days.
So next is Ray, based off, it's just a biographical version of Ray Charles in his life, from childhood, basically when he starts becoming blind, up until current day, because this is like 2004 when this came out, they're played perfectly by Jamie Foxx. I don't think you could find anybody else ever to play him better. Yeah, it is just, if you like Ray's music, or if you grew up with Ray's music, you want to know more about Ray as a person, then this would be it. I do say that this film did get ruined for me because I saw Dewey Cox first, and Dewey Cox is like an amalgamation of parodies of like all the musical biographical films that were coming around this time. So like this and Walk Hard and a couple others.
I mean, Walk Hard is Dewey Cox.
Oh, not Walk Hard, but the
Walk the Line.
Walk the Line. There. So it was. So they parodied some of the scenes from this, and they parodied some of the scenes from Walk the Line there. So when it came to some of those scenes, I'm like thinking more of the parody is there. I guess that just kind of happens when you watch a parody first. But anyways, so yeah, and I can't even say that's generic because this kind of thing happens with just a lot of musical people. They start from rags to riches most of the time. Then they get more money than they can ever possibly, think to imagine happen. So then they get into drugs and other stuff, and they get into a low point. But then they have a turnaround and get to a better life. It's not even like generic because that's just what happens. Unfortunately, there for a lot of them, it's like people work like complaining when that happened, and even more current films, and we're just like, that's really what happened to the person.
Well, most of the artists that these biopics are made of were hitting like their heyday in like the 50s, 60s, 70s, where that was a big thing.
Exactly. It's like when you're an adult with a lot of money in the ages of all the drugs. You're at least going to experiment with one of them at least, and probably done it because they're addictive. So,
and I have a big soft spot for musician biopics, as you might have noticed as we've gone through these movies, because there's several of them in here. And for me, they just tend to get better the more of them we get, because typically, there's more research done, there's more people involved, like people who want to actually tell the story involved, with some outliers.
Yeah, I would say that even with like the ones that are kind of skewing it, and it's more, not so much I guess you could consider it a puff piece, but not like a full-on puff piece, but definitely doesn't really dig into like some of their like worse things that have them, are still pretty enjoyable. And as you said, they're really well done because sometimes they even have the person they're basing off help them out.
Yeah. So, I mean, like Rocket Man. Rocket Man was fantastic. Yeah. And I think what makes, at least for me, the musician biopics so good and so fun is because, yes, it is stuff that we already know about, but it's stuff most of us had to voluntarily know about. Yeah. It's not like when you're doing a biopic on a historical figure where it's stuff you learned in school and it was usually a really rigid environment, and then the movie itself is kind of dull, or they really kind of like amp up the glitz and the glam of it, but also amp up like the bad.
Yeah. Like
they really try to like juxtapose a lot of times juxtapose these two conflicting things. And Ray is just so well acted. Jamie Foxx was fantastic. It's not my favorite Jamie Foxx movie, but it is up there. My favorite Jamie Foxx movie is a little lower on this list. And also, the man just has a voice like butter.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Like, I can listen to him sing all day.
Yeah.
Because I adore Jamie Foxx. That man has been in, like, 3 of my favorite movies. I love Ray. I love The Soloist. I love Dreamgirls. He's not even my favorite part of Dreamgirls, but I love Dreamgirls.
I liked him in not Amazing Spider-Man. I liked him when they got
No Way Home. Oh, he's so fun in No Way Home. Basically, Jamie Foxx is another one of those actors. If you say he's involved in it, I'm gonna watch it. I even watch Beat Shazam just because Jamie Foxx is the host.
Yeah, that's a fun show.
But yeah, like I love Jamie Foxx, and he comes off so genuine too, like just as a person.
And I'm sure he did a lot of research for this, and I want to say Ray was still around.
I don't know if Ray was still around when this was going on,
Okay.
but like you can tell he really put his heart and soul in this, because because you can hear the difference between actual Ray Charles and Jamie Foxx, but it is slight.
Yeah.
It's like when you're listening to the Rocketman soundtrack, and you can hear the difference between Elton John and Taron Egerton, but it's
very
slight.
Yeah.
And on some of the songs, I actually like Taron's version better, and like with Ray, some of the songs I like Jamie Foxx's version better.
Ray, yeah.
But it's just so good, and then you have like these really great performances from the supporting cast as well, because you have Regina King and Kerry Washington in this thing. I mean, Regina King,
yeah,
I love her. She's a fantastic actress, and then Kerry Washington is great as well. I mean, I know her biggest role to date was in Scandal, and I wasn't a huge fan of Scandal, but her as an actress is just it's just so great to watch.
Rear Window is probably my favorite, or at least one of my top 3 favorite Alfred Hitchcock films.
Fair.
I grew up with watching this film. This was probably the first Alfred Hitchcock movie I ever saw, because Turner Classic Movies showed them all the time, and yeah, everybody knows The Bird and a lot more of the horror centric ones, but Alfred really did suspense really freaking well. And I mean, it's James Stewart, and I don't know if this would be an unpopular opinion or just you don't hear it as often kind of thing. I think this is James Stewart's best role, more so than It's a Wonderful Life. I like It's a Wonderful Life. He does very well in this, but he plays I just really like his character. Yeah, to be fair, this is a lot further in his career when he did this as opposed to It's a Wonderful Life. But
also, to be fair with James Stewart, throw a dart and you're going to hit a fantastic performance.
James Stewart is Tom Hanks
is the modern
modern James Stewart, because with James Stewart, it's one of those, I don't know what, gun to my head, I might say this is my favorite, but
it literally just depends on your mood,
right? But we talked earlier about Harvey. I really like that one. I think we've talked about it back when we did animation, but he's the dog in Fievel Goes West. That was his last role, but he still knocked it out of the park there with that one. And then you've got the other Alfred Hitchcock films he's been in, because Alfred Hitchcock really liked I think they both just really worked well together there. And then of course you got Grace Kelly on top of this, working really well. The two of them and their back and forth really show off that this is not just a couple, or they're not. I guess they're a couple, but they're not married. They're just they've been on and off for a while there, and he's really into his work, or was really into his work, and they did a great way of showing how he got on the cast, instead of showing you how he did it or him telling you, oh, I was in this wreck or anything. It shows you with pictures that he, for a living, he's a professional photographer, and he photographs a lot of big events, and one of them is an F1 race or something like that, and you literally just see the pictures of the car coming in and crashing into him, and then the next thing you see is him in the cast, and that's the perfect show don't tell right there. Is you see these pictures, oh dang, how do you get those pictures? See him in the cast, that's how you got the pictures. That's why he's stuck in his apartment, and he just gets bored and starts just neighbor watching, people watching, and he just happens to see something through his roll credits here, Rear Window, and he wants to check it out. And spoiler alert for over 50-year-old movie, he comes and comes across, with the help of Grace Kelly's character, a murder that occurs. Actually, technically, multiple murders.
He finds a serial killer.
He finds a serial killer living in the apartment complex, as he does. But it's also just really, really cool. It's just seeing all the other people there and their little lives, and how they don't really interconnect, but just kind of everything that's going on while he's cooped up in this house with nothing to do other than to figure out what's going on. And the couple times that Grace comes over to help him with like making food or ordering dinner for him, or just keeping company, or like his maid or whatever that comes over every once in a while and helps him with like folding, the nurse that like makes sure that he's okay. She's really great too. Also, if you're into movies, you probably already know this, but for those who don't, Alfred Hitchcock really went all out with this set. There, he really wanted to make it like an actual apartment building. So, from what I've read online, that entire set is like a real working apartment. So there's like, they got electrical wiring and plumbing all throughout the thing. So the rooms are actually like, you can use the sinks, you can use the bathrooms and stuff, because they were going to be kind of cooped up there for hours at a time. He wanted to be like, don't go to your dressing room, or don't exit out and have to go down all these steps and stuff. Just do what you need to do in these rooms here, because it's a real
get you some water and go to the bathroom.
Yeah, it'll bring food up to you, kind of thing there, which really I think made the actors more comfortable in the sets there, because they're like, oh, this is just like an actual room. I'm not like, it's a set, but it's not, kind of thing there. And it's a really, clever way of how they go about figuring out this, that, and the other. They're a great murder mystery kind of thing. And this is when you said you didn't remember the plot too?
You just went through the plot and it all came back. I think I was mentally right now blocking a lot of it from it, because I am relating a little too much to this movie right now. Like, I am watching a lot of true crime with my leg up on a pillow, because I can't do anything.
Yeah.
I can hobble from bed to toilet. That's it.
And although you do have a rear window to look out to, it literally just looks out to
the backyard.
A backyard that's like
a shared backyard.
That's just like a fence and some gravel. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no other apartments to like. Everybody pretty much just kind of stays inside over here, or like they're at work most of the time, so it's pretty much empty. Everybody comes home around the same time.
Yeah, like we live in like a really quiet part of the city, which when we told everybody where we were moving to, they were all just like, oh no, don't go there. It's horrible. We get here and it's like the chillest place I've ever lived.
Yeah.
So even if I were to like look out our rear window right now, I would not be having a James Stewart moment.
No.
But yeah, I'm relating a little too well to this movie. So I think mentally, for my own mental health, I was like blocking most of the plot line of this movie out.
But from what you remember seeing, what were your thoughts on it?
It's like a really like cool watch. It's not my favorite Hitchcock. I am still more partial to The Birds. But this is fun. I do love James Stewart. I like Grace Kelly. She's not my favorite actress. Like, she's good, but there were better during that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll pretty much watch anything with James Stewart in it. And it like I said earlier, it's kind of one of those. He's one of those actors, like, slight change in mood is going to change what your favorite James Stewart movie is.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure at some point in time, this is going to be my favorite performance.
Yeah.
It's just going to depend on what my mood is. Like, right now, this is probably, currently, in my current state of mind, this is probably my least favorite performance of his, because it's a little too real for me.
Do we want, I know we don't own it, but do we want to talk about the quote-unquote remake, which isn't really a remake? They actually got sued for it because they did not have the permission to make the film. And I'm sure somebody is like listening to this and is like, wait, this sounds like the plot to Disturbia. Yeah,
it is the plot to Disturbia.
That was not like a modern retelling. They basically stole the plot to the, and it's And it is one that, like, like, you tell that plot and they're going to immediately think of Alfred Hitchcock, because that's really not...
That's the iconic.
That's the iconic one. So, yeah, the estate did go after... I don't know if I'm pretty sure they probably settled out of court, because, I mean, the movie still did come out and stuff. But they did go after them legally, because they're like...
They probably got a cut of the royalties.
Yeah, because they were like, whoa, this is way too close to be considered, like, just an original piece. This is basically a remake without saying it's a remake there. And I've seen it, and it was, like, one of my sister's favorite films growing up, so I've saw it probably as many times as I've seen Rear Window. And I'm like, it really is night and day, though, that Rear Window is a much better film.
Because one is James Stewart and the other Shia LaBeouf.
Yes, that's the main reason. Yeah, it's like if he had. I mean, I get it, and that was a cool plot idea of making it instead of a broken cast being like the police band thing on the ankle. He can't get out of the house kind of thing there. But he's just such an unlikable character. Whereas James Stewart is like, you like him from the very get go. Like, he's a little curmudgeon-y because he's cooped up in his house and he's not. He
totally relate.
And he's used to, like, and that's why him and Grace kind of are going at it a little bit, not like fighting, but just like this is why we can't ever have like an actual relationship, because you're just traveling the world, taking all these photographs, where I'm not really that type of person to travel the world. I'd rather just stay at home. Kind of, she was the introvert before introverts, where is it really a
yeah, I identify with her.
so like but she's like, she finds this like the best opportunity to kind of like make amends with her, and like, like, hey, see, you can have fun with just staying at home and hanging out with me all the time.
Yeah, but girl, here's the thing. Don't get me wrong. I completely agree with her wanting to stay home thing. But when you have no choice but to stay home because you can't get up and move.
And that was what he was trying to explain.
Oh.
He's like, yes, I know we, haven't had the greatest relationship because I'm out and about, and yes, that would be fine, whenever I retire, but like, this is not the see how good it is, because I'm literally in a cast, and I think he's actually, like, he's close to being healed, because it's like, he's like got like one more week or something of it, so it's like celebratory and stuff, because every couple like scenes he's like trying to scratch or find something to scratch, because this is before the boots and stuff, so he's in like one of those plaster casts, and it like goes all the way up his leg.
That he got hit by a car.
He did get hit by a car.
I just fell off a curb and I'm going crazy.
Yeah, so he's like, he's in like just basically this studio apartment that just is like a bedroom / living room and a kitchen. That's it. So he doesn't even have that much. He's got the one window that goes out into his backyard.
Believe me, I can relate. I am stuck in our bedroom because I can't. I can technically make it to the living room, but I can't like sit and hang out with you on that couch for very long, because trying to get up it's hell. It hurts. It hurts so bad. Yeah. So trust me, I completely get where he's coming from. Going stir crazy, stuck in one little room.
And that's what makes James Stewart a great actor. He's obviously not her, but he's able to show.
I'm telling you, the fact that this is one of the movies we're covering while I'm currently dealing with a broken ankle is just like perfect dramatic irony.
So let's go on to the next one. Then.
Yeah.
So the next one we're going to is Saving Private Ryan, another Tom Hanks film, which also has like pretty much every up and coming male actor in it at the time, and you got, when Shelley was like pulling it up, she was like, "Holy crap, Vin Diesel is in this!" I'm like, "Yeah, he's in this, and Matt Damon's in it, and Ted Danson's in it, Paul Giamatti, Edward Burns, Barry Pepper, Tom Sizemore, Adam Goldberg." Just the list goes on, and it's like,
I wouldn't call Ted Danson up and coming.
Oh no, I'm not.
He was well established.
There's like a lot of like most of the just regular soldiers really up and coming, where a lot more of like the leaderships were like the well known actors at the time. So like the Ted Danson, he was just coming right off of Cheers. There, you've got Matt Damon, who this was I think, around the same time as.
This is 98, so
98?
it's late 90s.
So
But he was already pretty big. He was decently well known at that point.
And that's why he's the main.
Yeah,
he's Ryan.
He's the main one we're following.
And then we've got, but then you got people like Vin Diesel, where they're just kind of like
pre-Fast and Furious Vin Diesel.
Fast and Furious, just there, just getting their legs wet.
Way before he was Groot.
Yep. And as I said, the list goes on, and yeah, it's just the story is, if you've never seen this movie, there's four sons, and 3 of them is just during World War II, and 3 of them have gotten killed in war, and like somebody notices, because they like have to they send the dog tags to, not to home, but they send the dog tags to this department. The department fills out basically this generic letter with the dog tag saying, hey, unfortunately, your loved one has passed. Somebody sees 3 of the same last names and realizes, holy crap, did this mom just lose her entire family? And then they realize, no, there's still one out there, and we need to go and save him and just send him home, because it's gonna break her heart if all 4 of her sons get lost in war, because that's kind of what happened. A lot of just families just kind of died out because of that war there. But like, so they send Tom Hanks, and he gets a crew, and he has to go and find this last dude who doesn't even really want to come home until he finds out all your other brothers are dead. You are your last remaining kind of family jewel there. You need to go home and be with, because I think it's just his mom there. But they have to get to a safe base, so they still have to go cross enemy lines and stuff to get home. And yeah, that meme where the guy just suddenly ages, that's from this movie.
Yeah.
Because he's looking at, he's seeing, Tom Hanks' grave, and he's like paying respect to him, because it's like, without him, he wouldn't be there today. So fantastic film, great acting across the board there. Your thoughts?
The movie as a whole is fantastic, but I think the best part of the entire movie, and I know it's been said to death, is that opening scene.
Yeah.
It encapsulates just the chaos of that battle. I mean, it was so well done.
You can also thank mainly that intro, but just the movie in general, because I believe this is directed by Steven Spielberg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this got him so into World War II kind of stuff there, and this film did so well that he wanted to do more of it, but he didn't want to do another World War II film. So thanks to this movie, and thanks to Steven Spielberg being into that, that's how we got Brothers in Arms video game series, which then eventually led to Call of Duty. So if you're a big fan of Call of Duty, this is the movie that kind of was the domino effect to us getting... I mean, yeah, there was other World War II games, because we got Castle Wolfenstein and other stuff, but a lot of those were like really kind of... they eventually like turned into like horror games. But this one, I was like... But with the Brothers in Arms, it was like just straight up just kind of a war what is it called? Not reimagining, but war reenactment type of game, which that got super popular, and then eventually others came out, and Call of Duty was like one of the better ones, and then Call of Duty became more famous than Brother in Arms, so that's where Call of Duty comes from. Alright, so next is Shawshank Redemption. Shelby said this before we started recording, and she said it's probably the best adaptive, or one of the second best
Stephen King adaptation.
And I have to agree with her. The first one, if you don't know, is The Green Mile, which I think we already talked about in the past. And it's kind of one of those, for me, it's a flip of the coin thing. Is like, I could go either way with that or this one with best adaptation. And honestly, I honestly think Stephen King is a better dramatic writer than he is a horror writer.
Yeah, like I love his dramas. His horrors are either too slow and I don't really get into them, or they're a little too weird.
Or they do well, and then the third act just goes off the rails, and you just never get it back on track. Which doesn't happen in his dramas. All his dramas
are so
the third
well
act is
done.
sometimes even the strongest part of the film there, honestly, and this is no exception. So yeah, Tim Robbins as Andy Dufresne and Morgan Freeman as Red are just like some of the best performances for both those actors there. And it's basically just trying to get a jail escape film, but it takes the escape from jail is actually the quick part there. The main thing is just how long he stays in this prison and how many people pass through there and either get out one way or another, and just him realizing it. And he's framed. He is framed for this. He did not commit it, the murder. There's somebody else, but he's like just never gonna get out. So he does plan an escape plan, but he doesn't ever really tell anybody. You really don't know that's what he has plans until like the very end, where he kind of tells everybody, "This is what I've been doing this whole time," which is great because most of the time we see these. All right, we got to do this, and we got to do this, and we got to figure this out, and am I going to get caught? And it's like, no, you don't. He never like worries about getting caught. He never worry about like, oh, are they going to find out? Oh, is the friend going to try to self-sabotage or something? Nah, it's all just one day he's there, and the next he's gone. And then they show how he escaped. But it's really about him just being the smart man on the inside and just making relationships with everybody that he comes across, whether it's like also people that are incarcerated or some of the other like the guards that are there and stuff, because he is like an accountant or just really good or really what's the word that you would call it, well taught person. He's very smart.
Yes.
There, so he knows a lot of loopholes for a lot of things there, mainly in the financial area, but other areas as well, especially like books and such like that. And it is just a fantastic. Honestly, it's kind of a feel-good movie outside of some sad parts in the middle there, but it does end. It's one of the dramas we have that actually does end on a really happy note there. And what were your thoughts?
Oh, I love this one. This, like we said, it's my second favorite of the Stephen King dramas. Second favorite Stephen King, period. I do still think Green Mile is a harder hitter, and the performances are a little stronger.
I think I like this one more because even though they're both really strong dramas, the Green Mile still leans onto
the fantasy
side, whereas this is just
straight
up drama. There's no fantasy in this whatsoever. I mean, I think they even at one point, I'm not sure if it was Mythbusters or somebody did could this feasibly happen?
And yeah, it could.
Yeah, you could.
But yeah, like everyone in like the prisoners in this movie are pretty much all very engaging. You care about them.
Yeah.
Especially the old guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. This is probably my favorite Morgan Freeman performance. It's not the performance you necessarily think of every time you hear Morgan Freeman.
Him doing God.
Because Morgan Freeman is the voice in my head for God. It uses Morgan Freeman's voice. Thank you, Bruce Almighty.
Yeah.
But this is like his strongest performance for me. I really enjoy him in this.
I want to say outside of him playing God and Bruce Almighty, this is probably his most memorable performance.
Yeah. And this was also my intro to Morgan Freeman as a kid.
Everybody's intro, unless you grew up with the Electric Company.
Yeah. I think this might be the only Tim Robbins thing I legit know that's Tim Robbins. Like, this is the only time that I go, oh, yeah, it's that dude.
Yeah.
And anytime the few times I see him pop up in other things, it's, oh, it's a Shawshank dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I know him from, is this.
That's fair.
And it is a really, really good movie, and it is surprisingly fun. It's one of the ones that's, like, surprisingly... It's a drama that's surprisingly really fun to watch. And it is because it has, like, the feel-goodness at the end of it.
The warden gets his comeuppance so good, so well.
I
the
love...
whole time they make this just the most conniving... not like... He's not like a villain like how like other wardens have been.
Yeah.
Like he's not like the one that comes to mind. It's not even, she's not even really a warden, but she's the principal. Is like Matilda, but they always seem to make them like kind of like that, where they're like, yeah, we're gonna torture you. No. This is more like he's like, you know, paying underneath the under the table kind of thing, getting away with stuff, and he even has Tim Robbins' character like cooking the books on stuff to make it him get more financial stuff out. And Tim Robbins knows that, and like does kind of work it out on his own as well, so that they can get like more books in the library and stuff, or more updated books in the library and stuff.
For me, like, the closest comparison, if I'm to look at, like, movie wardens to, like, the connivingness in this, are the wardens and the camp workers in Holes.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, these movies are linked in my head in terms of character descriptions.
I can see it.
But, yeah, which is probably another reason why I love Holes so much. But, yeah, like, Holes feels like Shawshank for kids.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I grew up on both. So, like, this kind of story has just always been really fun for me. Really enjoy Shawshank. Yeah, I don't really think there's anything else we can say. It's a fun movie. It has its sad moments.
This is, like, a classic film that, like, everyone
has commented
on. 7 is not for the weak stomach, people.
Oh, it's not. Do not eat while watching this movie.
Don't eat, and maybe don't eat right after either.
Or right before.
This is in the drama section, even though a lot of people have this more of like a horror movie. I mean, and I totally get that. It could be in either horror genre.
It really could.
We just put it in drama because the main crux of the film is Morgan Freeman again, and Brad Pitt. Is them doing the investigation, trying to figure out. Yeah, you do see you don't see like the kills as they happen. You see the aftermath.
Yeah. Of
them, and every one of them is gruesome.
It's more about solving the case and less about the crime itself.
Yeah, and also kind of like Brad and Gwyneth Paltrow and their whole dynamic while this is all going on. And also, like, this is like, I want to say Morgan's last case before he like retires or something like that.
It's literally supposed to be the I'm too old for this ish thing.
But it's not like played up for laughs or anything. It's just like, no, let's do this job. And Brad Pitt's like, he's not new, but he's never had to deal with this.
He's new to that precinct.
Yeah, and he's never had to deal with this rough of a perpetrator before, so he's not used to seeing everything that happens. But he does like put that in the back of his mind. Is like, okay, we still just got to get this, figure out who did this, and then capture the person. And the other half of the film happens, and we all know how it ends, kind of thing. Well acted, definitely good special effects for the graphic parts that we won't mention here, but definitely not one I'm going to recommend to everybody, because if you don't like these sorts of films, you're definitely not going to like this one.
Like, you have to not only like the detective side of things, but you have to be like into kind of gruesome movies.
Like, if you don't like stuff like these are more extremes, but these are kind of in the same. But if you don't like stuff like Hellraiser or Hostel, or the
Saw.
or Saw, you're not gonna like this because it's those types of things happen. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I like the detective work of the movie. Those are the parts of the movie that I do watch. But anytime we get to, like, an actual visiting a victim, I am under a blanket. I'm not looking at that because I don't like the Saw-type movies. But this is also one of the rare movies where I enjoy watching Brad Pitt. I'm usually not a Brad Pitt fan. I usually cannot stand the dude. I don't really like his acting in most movies, but he does a good job in this, and I'm 90% sure it's because he's working off of Morgan Freeman. Because any other time I watch him in something, I don't care. But it's something about an actor working with Morgan Freeman that makes him infinitely more likable. And you care about what happens to him. It's just Morgan Freeman has that effect on actors and their projects. Yeah. Like, I can legitimately not like the actor for their performance and everything else they're in. But if they're in a movie with Morgan Freeman and they're working off Morgan Freeman, I'm probably going to like the scenes with Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
So that's more of a credit to Mr. Freeman. Gwyneth Paltrow is kind of a I'm here to move the plot along character. She herself doesn't really have much to do, and she's another character that her best scenes are with Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Because they end up with, like, a really sweet friendship, and that's, like, the sweetest part of the movie. For me, those are, like, the most comforting parts of the movie, and I'm sure that's on purpose, and it makes the end that much worse.
Yeah.
We're not going to put any spoilers in, because this is a movie that's, like, an acquired taste type of thing, so a lot of people haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But it is brutal.
From beginning to end.
Just, it's nonstop. It's disturbing, but it's also interesting.
Yeah.
Which is why we have it, because it's also interesting. And it's kind of a perfect spooky season movie. If you want, like, a spooky season movie, but you're not in the mood for, like, a supernatural ghost story, possession story, monster, this is a good pick.
Yeah. Alright, next one I'm going to let you start out, because this is definitely a you movie.
100%. And we're back at another music biopic. This one is Selena, which is the only time I have ever enjoyed Jennifer Lopez as a musician or an actress.
And I really don't have any thoughts on this, because one, I didn't grow up with Selena's music. Two, I didn't even know who this person was when Shelby introduced the movie to me. So, like, the entire film was like, I didn't recognize any of the music, and I don't recognize the person that is actual Selena. So, like, the whole, like, what happens in the end really surprised me, because I was like, oh, that may be why I don't know much about her. But I'll let you explain everything else.
Okay, so it should be common knowledge now, especially in the US, who Selena is, because one, this movie was a big deal when it came out, because it did come out that long after she passed. And then two, a few years ago, we got the Netflix series.
I didn't know we got it.
Yep.
I'm new too.
So it's pretty well known. Also, her murderer has been up for parole at least once, if not a couple times. And every time she comes up for parole, the internet goes a little wild. Like, let her get out. We'll find her. And I'm kind of in that camp. I don't think she should ever get out.
Okay. I don't have any thoughts.
But it is the story of the Tejano singer Selena Quintanilla. I was vaguely aware of her music because there were, like, certain areas driving between here and my grandparents where the country station we were listening to would briefly turn into a Hispanic station. Because, you know, the channels change as you were going through states.
Yeah.
And every once in a while we would, like, start hearing Selena.
Yeah.
And then the movie came on one year on, like, again, FX, on Halloween. So we came home from trick-or-treating and we're watching Selena, and I got...
Weird movie to
I know.
Trick-or-treat.
I know. But my dad took us out trick-or-treating and Mom was at home watching FX. So she was handing out candy.
See? There we go. FX.
So we came home and it had just started, and I got sucked in, because when I say I have been really into music biopics, I've been really big into music biopics since I was a kid.
And how old were you in this?
I think I was like 6 or 7.
Okay, so that kind of makes sense you would get sucked in because you said the movie had just started. So the beginning is just like Selena as like 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old, just starting in just doing music at like local bars.
It follows her story, like her
being that type of kid would of course.
Yeah, I was huge into music. I liked learning about different cultures. So like it's already like starting off with like this very Hispanic beats going on, and I was already into that. And then it just kept going and kept getting better. And again, this is the only time this movie convinced me for a very short period of time that I could be a Jennifer Lopez fan. And then I heard more of her stuff. And I was like, okay, so it's just Selena. So that kind of like led me more into learning more about Selena and more about her music. Mm-hmm. It was also like the first time I had taught myself a song in another language.
Oh, nice.
Like I learned Como la Flor as a kid. Just looking it up on the internet and figuring it out. Mm. Which ended up helping me when I started taking Spanish in middle school. Because our Spanish teacher was like a huge Selena fan, so she started playing the music and I already knew it all, and she's like, why does this little white girl know all the Selena songs? But it does go through her rise to fame, the struggle she had, because she saw herself as more just like an American girl, and her dad was like really trying to let her know, like, you have to be more Mexican than the Mexicans, more American than the Americans. You have to be part of both worlds and one world at the same time, which, from what I've pieced together from my friends that are from different cultures, that is what their experience is. They have to be more of each culture that they're a part of than anybody else if they're part of more than one.
Oh, wow.
And that is one privilege I can acknowledge that I have, is I don't have that pressure. I have other pressures, but they're more family pressures. So it is something that was interesting to learn about, and it did help with giving me more compassion to other people that do have that,
or empathizing,
who do have that struggle that they have to go through. And then you get the love story between her and her husband, and the fact that, her dad didn't want them together, and you see how their relationship builds, and that is just another really, really just sweet part of the movie, which makes the very end of it hit more, because they're like showing in slow-mo everyone's reaction to her passing, and like they're playing one of her like last songs while they're doing the whole scene of, after she's been killed, and the doctor's coming, informing her parents and her siblings and her husband that she's passed, and there's everybody sobbing, and then out here like this little 7-year-old me just sobbing into my Halloween candy. Yeah, it is like beautifully done. It is the cast is really well, just really well put together. They act very well together. Edward James Olmos as her dad was like the perfect pick in terms of performance, because one, he's just a fantastic actor anyway, but then I really bought the familiar relationship between him and the actors who were supposed to be his kids. Like, you kind of got that, I am dad and you're going to listen to me. I am not only your dad, but I am your boss kind of vibes.
Andrew, yeah.
So I would definitely say this is one that you should check out. I've already said this before in this video, I am a sucker for musician period pieces. Normally there is a happier ending than this. It doesn't normally end in the lead dying.
Yeah.
But it is just so, I'm getting a little teary-eyed talking about it. It is very, very well done.
Alright, so next is Silver Linings Playbook. I'm gonna come out to say it. This isn't a good movie. I'm sorry. This is... I get the mental health things that they're going or trying to talk about, but like... And I guess this may just because of, at the time we were just now getting into and researching that, but it did not age well, I will say. So by the time I got around to watching this, I had seen better movies show off these mental health issues, because like some of them, like friggin' Chris Tucker's character specifically just feels like a parody. And same with Robert De Niro's, his mental health. It just feel more like a parody or making fun of.
Yeah, to be fair, with De Niro, half his roles.
Yeah, I get it. But, still, I'm like, I didn't... I didn't... as great as all these actors are, none of them really did a good job of, being whatever there's...
I think the closest in terms of, performance-wise for me was Jennifer Lawrence, and, she won big for this one.
I guess. I still, even with hers, I'm just like, I don't know. It's just but, man, Bradley Cooper's character just felt weird. And I get it. These are all real mental health issues, but I'm like, I don't know how... I'm sure they did a good... I know that this is based off a book, so I'm sure that the author did some research. I just don't think the actors well researched in how to portray, if that makes sense. I know it just... I don't know. It just... the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, this feels off. I don't feel like these people actually have it. I think it feels more like they're making fun of people that have the
I can see that.
Whereas I'm sure people that actually do that may actually no, these are how these people act. I'm like, I'm sure, but I'm like, I don't know. It's just something, the way it's all directed just didn't work for me. I mean, it obviously worked well because it won a bunch of awards and stuff, but just because wins a bunch of awards doesn't mean it's a good movie, and just because it's a good movie doesn't mean it's going to be win a bunch of awards. Anyways, but yeah, I've seen the film once, and I'm like, I don't ever really want to see this film again, kind of thing.
This is one that I do go back and rewatch every once in a while. Mostly when I just kind of want to watch a Jennifer Lawrence film, but I'm not in the mood for The Hunger Games.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I do enjoy her performance in this, and
and as I said,
there's so many variables.
They're really good actors. This is a stacked cast. It's just
I will say this is one of the few Bradley Cooper movies where I feel like he doesn't do well. Mm-hmm. Normally he's at least fun to watch. If it's not telling a compelling story for him, he's at least fun to watch. But for me, it's Jennifer Lawrence in this that makes it worth watching.
I feel the word I'm looking for is over the top.
It is over the top.
Really over the top when they really don't need to be.
Yeah, this was right around the time when people started actually trying to do mental health in film.
Yeah.
And trying to make that the plot of the movie, but they weren't at the point where they fully understood it yet. Where they fully understood how to do it yet. It wouldn't be until TV shows started taking it into effect that movies started learning how to do it. Because with TV shows, you have more time to spread out and really go into it. Which I feel like that's how it usually goes. Any kind of topic that takes effort to really get the point across, usually a show will do it better first before a movie will.
Yeah.
Because they have more time to develop it.
Well, that and the writers have had, depending on how many seasons, they've had all this amount of time to be able to write for this character, so they know exactly how the actor acts, so they know how to write the script so that the actor can portray whatever they're trying to portray or talk about correctly, not just to give light to the thing like mental health in this case, but also make it in a way to where that actor has an easier way of slipping into the role and slipping into being able to show off that type of thing.
This had the unfortunate timing of coming out right when everybody wanted to start talking about mental health. They wanted to start making it a focus, and we hadn't really got any media yet that really focused on it and explored it. Unlike now, where we've got 3 separate Apple TV shows alone that have covered it.
Yeah.
There's the Will Ferrell and Paul Rudd one.
Yep.
And then there's Shrinking, which is fantastic.
Yep.
And then there's Ted Lasso, which
exactly,
which covers mental health and football.
Yeah, I do know this one was more on the more because it's Jennifer Lawrence has bipolar or is it Bradley Cooper? One of them is.
One of them has bipolar. I think it was Bradley Cooper.
Robert De Niro has OCD.
I can't remember exactly what everyone has.
I forget what Chris Tucker's character
They kind of just, like, started picking issues and, like, throwing it out of character.
Yeah.
And, like, this is what you have, now do it. And it doesn't feel like anybody really researched what they should be doing.
And I know there's nothing, because I know this is based off a book, I think.
I don't know.
If it is, I'm sure the author probably did some research into this, or is
you
based
would hope.
off of, people they live with. But again, I just think that the direction was not well done there, because everybody's kind of doing it a little. It almost feels like, how people would have done these, because this came out in 2012, but they're acting like how they portrayed mental health issues like in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
But like not for for the most part, Chris Tucker and Robert De Niro, it's still for like a semi-comedic effect, and every now and then, same with Bradley and Jennifer's characters, but like it still feels like there should be a laugh track after a couple of times happen, which is what how stuff in the 90s and 80s were with some mental health things there.
Like, overall the movie is pretty interesting, and it's a pretty good watch.
It's a nice little
it's a good time capsule movie. But here is one thing that feels weird watching this movie. Everyone's acting it like it's an episode written for, like, a teen drama.
Right, like these all are people that are in their 30s and 40s and older, but go ahead.
And we already had, like, a long-running, very popular teen drama who had tackled these issues better. And yes, I'm talking about Degrassi again.
That's exactly it. These are all, they're acting like how you would have a teenager act and react to these things, where I'm like, these are all adults, and for some of them, high-functioning.
Like, especially the bipolar storyline.
Yeah.
Which I do think it was Bradley Cooper. If you were to look at Bradley Cooper's performance in this, and I can't remember the actor's name right now, but he played Craig Manning in Degrassi. His performance, because his character does have bipolar. If you were to look at specifically the episode with Ashley's dad's wedding, where he, like, trashes the hotel room and loses his mind, compared to Bradley Cooper's performance in this entire movie, Greg did it better.
Yeah, I think this was all up to direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the director was the right pick for it. I don't know who David Russell is.
He did the directing and the screenplay, so it is based off a novel.
Okay, Matthew Quick. So I'm sure Matthew did all his research, and it may also have been basing this off of maybe stuff. This is just kind of off the cuff, people. We're not doing research here. All we've got is our thoughts and just IMDb page pulled up. We are not deep diving into this stuff.
This is just us talking.
But I'm just assuming that Matthew did his research, but David Russell did not.
And this is why, unless your original writer, like your novelist, whoever wrote the source material, has gone, unless they've, like, gone off the deep end, like Voldemort.
Yep.
Or they have passed, I do think it's important to have the original novelist involved in the storytelling, involved in the script writing, because they know what their point was and they know what they wanted to get across.
Yeah. And for those who've read the book, is the movie an accurate portrayal, or is the book better like it usually is? And
is the book more nuanced, and there were ways they could have put the nuance in the film, because it's not that hard to put nuance in a film.
It really isn't. All right.
On to the next one.
Next one. Straight Outta Compton.
So much better.
Oh, I enjoyed this. And I don't even really. I'm aware of NWA, as far back as, like, college. Like, yeah, they were around in the 90s, but I was not allowed to listen to that type of music.
I was.
So, but I was aware of them starting in college, and then once I started dating Shelby, she introduced me to their music. I'm like, oh, okay. So I kind of have heard some of these songs in, like, movie soundtracks and stuff since then. So when this came out, it like, I knew nothing about them outside of a couple of their songs. In that Cuba Gooding Jr. was one of the people in the band there. So that was all I knew about it going into it. And yeah, it is of course another music biography there, but this is like on an entire group instead of just one person. It does kind of like focus in on a couple of them more than others. Okay, but I think it's really well done. It's probably one of the better, biopics come from somebody that doesn't really know a lot of the history outside of this movie there, as opposed to like other artists and bands that I do know more history of, because again, I didn't grow up with this type of music. Hiring Cuba's son,
Ice Cube's
son to play him was like perfect casting, because
it looks not only is he like looks so much like his dad, but his acting is so good.
Right.
Like, this is one of the few times where like nepotism has worked to the betterment of the project. Because I'm telling you, right, O'Shea Jackson Jr. is such a good actor. Right. And then having him paired up with Corey Hawkins, like, this was my first Corey Hawkins piece, was Straight Outta Compton, and then we saw In the Heights, and then we saw Tick, Tick, Boom, and I'm just, like, sold. I love it. Yeah. I love him.
He's great.
He's fantastic. I love him so much. And then Jason Mitchell as Eazy-E was so entertaining to watch. Okay, like, I've never been a huge Eazy-E fan. I have always been more partial to Ice Cube and Dr. Dre.
I want to say Cuba Gooding Jr. earlier. My bad. Ice Cube.
Ice Cube. But just watching him throughout the whole movie, because he does so... And then you get towards the end of it when, it's another one where a character finds out they have AIDS.
Yeah.
It's so well done. It's so good. I love this movie so much. It's a fun ride, but there's also a lot going on because it was the 80s and 90s rap scene, and there was so much going on.
They were considered, one of the, quote unquote, the worst rap band.
They were fantastic.
Yeah, their music is iconic. People. Come from somebody that didn't grow up with it, and then Shelby introduced me. I'm like, I have heard these songs. I've heard these songs in like a list of movies.
I did not grow up in the best area, and my mom was just like, as long as you're not emulating the attitudes of certain performers, I don't care what you're listening to. As long as you know the difference between the art and the reality and what you can get away with looking like how you look like, you're good. You can listen to what you want. I took that to heart.
And then there's me that just grew up on Christian radio station and classic radio. So shout out to WMHK, Columbia, South Carolina. That's all I listened to from ages of birth to about 16. So yeah.
Yeah, I've always just been a huge music person. I will listen to pretty much anything, and can find something to appreciate in pretty much anything.
And she's expanded. She's introduced me to NWA, Outkast, a bunch of just stuff that I just want to.
I mean, dude, where we live, if you don't know who Outkast is, get out and get on.
Which I didn't until you introduced me to it. But going back to this, great film. I wanted to see more films like this where it doesn't just focus on one specific person. It focuses on
groups,
on a group, but doesn't focus on one person in that group. It focuses on the entire group almost equally there.
Like, there is a clear lead in this. O'Shea Jackson Jr. is the clear lead. We are clearly following Ice Cube's character, but everyone else is so integrated and so entwined that you can't just solely focus on him. You have there's moments of it where you have to focus on everyone else.
And that's why, going back to Bohemian, that's kind of the reason I had an issue with it, because yes, of course, you're going to have more people because everybody knows Freddie Mercury.
Everybody knows Freddie.
But there's other people there in the cast, and I know this was more of the other people in the band were kind of spearheading what to talk about, what not to talk about.
They didn't want their dirty laundry hung out, but Freddie wasn't here to defend himself, so they hung his dirty laundry out and made it a hit piece on him and a puff piece on them, and that makes me upset. I watch it because the moments that they tried to make you hate Freddie, I still don't hate Freddie, and Rami Malek's performance was fantastic. Yep. Back to this, though, everyone did fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. And, I want more where let's talk about M Band and maybe be on whoever was like the lead on there, still be like the main character that we kind of follow, but still give time to let everybody breathe and have their own scenes and stuff there, which they did. Also, I know it was a little tongue-in-cheek, but I do like the shout-outs to Friday in this.
Yes! I mean, come on! Friday is like, okay, outside of his music career, Friday is what you know Ice Cube for.
It is. It is. Although the first movie I ever saw him in was
Are We There Yet?
Friday is the one.
That's the iconic.
That's the iconic one.
So yeah, having those like callbacks to future projects.
Yeah.
I love when biopics are able to do that. Like when you're able to integrate, stuff upcoming and what's currently going on. That's so interesting to me. And then for it to be like artists that I was familiar with but didn't really know their specific history. Like a lot of their specific history. I knew bits and pieces, but I hadn't like researched it. Or it hadn't been something that was like widely talked about with my family, like Ray Charles and
Selena?
Well, Selena, I found it on my own.
Oh.
Selena was my own research. But like Ray Charles and Johnny Cash. Like Johnny Cash living in the South, everybody knows of and has at least a couple discussions on his life and his legacy and everything going on there. So to have, this look into, especially, using one of the performers' actual children in it, it was so cool to see. And we had so much fun watching this movie.
So going from that to another Jamie Foxx film, The Soloist, and Robert Downey Jr. This is just speaking of movies that portray mental health better. This did it better.
Oh man, I love this movie.
To be fair, it's Jamie Foxx and Robert Downey Jr., so like they can act their way out of anything. But also the script was really well. The director was really, really good. I just think this was Joe Wright.
It's my favorite director.
Yeah. So like it's just was an overall better film. I guess this was based on a book. I don't know if the book was based off of a true story or not. It kind of sounds like it was, though, just because of how intricate, but who knows, because some writers are just really that creative. But it just seems like it was a real thing. But is about a soloist that I guess at one time was doing really well, but then he had the mental health stuff. And when this came out in 2009, and even before that, like whenever this takes place, there was really no avenues to take either medicated or therapeutic to help with that, unfortunately. And we still have issues today, but they are slightly better than they were almost 20 years ago. So like he basically is just homeless, and Robert Downey Jr.'s character sees that, holy crap, this guy's like this fantastic like musician. How is he just out on the street doing this? And like takes him in, pays for him to be hotel, and Jamie Foxx's character is not trustworthy. Not he himself is not trustworthy. He's just not trusting because I think he's dealt with this in the past, but because of his family and stuff there. And it's been a while since I've seen the movie, so I don't really remember all the plots, but it's fantastic acting there. This came out like right after Iron Man, so this was like Robert Downey Jr. at like his most popular there, and like Jamie Foxx after Ray had come out, so this was him being at his height of popularity there. So like but it came out in 2009, which was like a really big year in films.
2009 was huge.
So it was like you either saw this or you saw one of the other 5 other films that were coming out every other weekend that year. So some of them just kind of fell through the cracks for me, and this was one of them that I didn't get to see until DVD. You did see this?
I saw this in high school. Like they actually showed it in class.
Oh, nice.
I believe it might have been a day the teacher was hungover because it had nothing to do with the subject. I believe it was my Spanish class. There's nothing about this movie that says Spanish. But yeah, we watched it in English, no Spanish subtitles, just straight up watched it. And I fell in love. I love everything about this movie. If I remember correctly, I think he actually was schizophrenic. I don't know if they came right out and said it, or if it's just in the context clues.
I think it's context clues.
Because the age that he was when it hit, he was in Juilliard, he was college age. That's usually around the time that hits. He had the paranoia issues. That's just that's just the diagnosis that it fits, coming from somebody who's watched a lot of true crime, and a lot of people have used the schizophrenic excuse. But diagnostically, that's typically when it shows up, is your like late teens, early 20s, and that's the age frame he would have been if it's hitting while he's starting Juilliard.
Yeah,
because he was great enough to get into Juilliard, and anybody who knows anything about art schools, that's like the school.
And if you don't know, that's like for other colleges, that's like Yale.
That's the Harvard, Yale, Princeton of performing arts schools.
Exactly. Like if you want to get into anything like not even just theatrical, but like musical or dance.
Yeah,
that is the one that you.
That's the one you aim for. Your as long as your grades are high enough up there. And for a lot of people who are taking this seriously, they're also taking their regular schoolwork very seriously as well. So if Juilliard is your goal, your backups are Yale, Harvard, and Princeton.
Yeah. So this character got into and was doing well in Juilliard
when all of a sudden these issues started.
Yeah. And as I said, because at the time there really wasn't any venues to help deal with that or even really get properly diagnosed.
I mean, it wasn't that it was... I mean, it is difficult to get diagnosed, but with schizophrenia, a lot of times you don't get diagnosed until you're an adult because that's when the symptoms start popping up. Which means, unless you're, like, institutionalized, they can't force you to take your medication all the time. And it is a condition where you have to be diligent with your medication. Because that's what keeps your symptoms from disrupting your daily life. So, that's another downside of it. And
he probably didn't have any support, or he might have had. I don't remember the movie. I think at one time he did have support.
If he up and leaves though, and they can't find him.
Yeah, that's what happened. He just kind of disappears, and he does that with Robert's character a couple times. I think that's how the movie ends too. Is he like leaves a note saying thanks for the help and everything, but it's just, I know that it's just gonna get worse.
It's just gonna get bad again.
So he just kind of leaves.
So it does end on a bitter note.
Yeah.
But it is a fantastic movie, and it's so well done, and the music in it is beautiful, and outside of his Iron Man performances, this is like my favorite Robert Downey Jr. performance. Yeah. And then later on in the video, my second favorite non-MCU Robert Downey Jr. performance is in here. But the soloist was so fantastic. Jamie Foxx is amazing. This is definitely not one of those, everyone should see it at least once. Watch this movie as many times as possible. It's so good. This is definitely one of those dramas that I watch if I just want to have a sweet time. Like this is one of my more like sweet, sentimental,
somber type of films. So next is Spanglish, and this is a Adam Sandler film, but since it's in the drama, it's one that he's more just dramatic acting. This does have some comedic elements to it, but this isn't like. It's not even like Click, where it like starts out as a comedy and then ends as a drama. This is kind of
it's a family drama.
Family drama all the way through. And I didn't see this film until just a couple years ago. I've only seen it once, so I don't remember. I do remember like big plot points, but I don't remember nuances and stuff. I did remember enjoying it. Shelby, you've seen this one probably multiple times.
I have. I saw it like several times in school.
So I'll let you
Spanish classes
go over the plot and give your thoughts on it.
So the main plot is following Paz Vega's Flor as she and her daughter are they immigrated to the U.S. Flor only speaks Spanish. The daughter is basically her translator for her mom, and she takes a housekeeping job for a wealthy family. The dad, Adam Sandler, is a chef. The mom is a overbearing stay-at-home mom, and then of course Leachman is the grandmother, who is fantastic. But then again, it's Cloris Leachman. She's fantastic at everything. And it is about, like, the family struggles themselves between parents and the kids. There is a bit of a fat-phobic storyline where the mom is really harping on her daughter to lose weight because, she wants this picture-perfect family. And Adam Sandler is definitely the I love my kids as a parent. And then, with him being a chef, he wants his kids to eat. He wants his kids to enjoy food. He doesn't want his kids to have a bad relationship with food. So that's, like, one of the big issues between the parents is Adam Sandler's character just wants his kids to be well-rounded, confident adults when they grow up, and the mom wants them to be perfect little robots. So that's where the big parts of their butting heads happen. There is, like, little hints at Adam Sandler kind of being into Fleur, but I think that was more of he was just looking for a connection.
Yeah, and that's how.
And it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I was about to say that's how I felt too. It was not so much as he was flirting to flirt. I think that's just how he is as a person.
It was how he was as a person, but also he's seeing how Fleur is with her daughter, and then also with his kids.
Yeah,
and just that unconditional love coming from, like, a mother figure was attractive.
He doesn't even do anything.
He doesn't act on it, but you can kind of see, like,
he's like, well, maybe, but then he's like, nah.
He does love his wife.
Yeah, he does,
and he knows she needs help.
Yeah.
So it is, like, heavy on the family drama. There is a lot of miscommunication issues because Fleur only speaks Spanish, the family only speaks English, and the daughter is having to translate. And the wife, Téa Leoni's character Deborah, is kind of really showing a lot of favoritism towards Fleur's daughter because she is that thin, pretty, vivacious girl that she wants her daughter to be. So there's a lot of comparison between the two, and it's making both girls uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, Christina, the daughter, Fleur's daughter, she's really soaking up that attention and the spoiling that she's getting because Deborah thinks she's just being kind. And it's causing wedges between all the kids and the parents, and there's a lot of miscommunication and a lot of, like, butting heads, but everyone ends up in a good place. It is like a feel-good drama. There are moments where things are a little dicey, but everyone ends up in a good place. It's one of those really sweet. I would say it's kind of similar in feel to Instant Family.
Yeah, just
Instant Family is a little more intense.
Yeah.
I'm talking in terms of, one, you can watch this with the whole family.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Two, it does kind of cover, like, different spectrums of family issues, but there is, like, eventually kind of helps model healthy ways to address your family issues. It's also just kind of a refreshing family drama movie. Like, it's not your traditional family drama movie where everybody's jerks to each other and then there's one shining light of hope.
Yeah.
Everyone has issues and everyone has good sides. Yeah. It's just finding that balance and then having that one really good comedic actor. Don't get me wrong, I love Adam Sandler, but when he goes to do a drama, he does the drama. He does not be the comedic side of it. So putting Cloris Leachman in there as, like, your comedy break was a fantastic idea. Anything else?
No, I think you said all of it.
Yeah. All right,
so next is Stan and Ollie. This is a biopic on Laurel and Hardy, basically the kings of comedy before really any of the. It started with, of course, Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin, and then these guys also started in the silent era, but then really got popular during the sound era. But it is still two guys. This is where the two guys, one being the straight man, one being the silly guy, and they get into comedic things. This is like, without them, we wouldn't get, like, stuff like Bud Abbott and Lou Costello, or, you can even compare them to even kind of modern movies with like the 22 Jump Street movies.
Oh man, I love Jump Street movies.
That is how these guys were, and they were the best. And so this is a biopic of their retirement years. This is after they did all the films. This is after they kind of broke up from being a team there because of... They go into it a little bit, but it was basically because at the time the studios kind of wanted them to start doing separate films and being, just kind of their own characters there, which one character didn't mind doing that and the other really did, because like they had been working for like decades together, and it was not just more of a means to an end. They really thought they had a friendship, and they did. But the other guy just like, hey, a job is a job kind of thing. I don't mind doing it with this company or that company, with you or without you. So it kind of brought tensions. But they do get back together and try to go just kind of on a tour stuff. And then this is like them. They're not like elderly, but they are past their prime there. And with John C. Reilly's character Oliver, he is having heart issues because he is overweight. There, he's been overweight. That's just kind of the thing he was known for as Ollie, was because he was the fat one, and Stan is the skinny one. And Ollie is the the mean one, and Stan's the silly crying one. That's just how their characters were. They weren't like that off screen, but that was their on screen. So Ollie had to keep up that weight on. So that did put, made him more of a health risk later on in life there. So Steve Coogan and John C. Reilly play Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy, and it's like the best casting you could ever get out of these guys, because it's John C. Reilly and Steve Coogan. They've done both comedic. They're mostly known, for the most part, both known for their comedic acting, although they both do dramatic acting just as well. And this is a bit of both, because it's a drama on one hand, but on the other hand, it's a drama about two of the funniest dudes that were in the golden age of Hollywood there. So they do still do their slapstick comedy and stuff, and they even do some of their jokes from the pieces from those old films, and I love it. And like it even shows how their choreographs for the cowboy dance compared to the original, and they got it like on point there. It was perfect there. So, and I'm sure, by the time this movie came out, there was dozens of books, dozens of biographies from both sides, as well as just in general on those characters. We had, all of their films. I don't think any of their films were ever lost to time. So you had hundreds of films, both in English and in different languages, that you could look up and really get into those characters. And I grew up with these because my grandpa and my uncle were both big Laurel and Hardy fans. So just like this is something I just watched basically since I was a baby, just seeing Laurel and Hardy doing their spiel, either trying to push a piano up a hill, or one of them is sick and is a hospital bed, or just smashing pies in each other's faces. Yeah, that sort of thing there. And just I continued enjoying that throughout my teen and adult years, and I still I have the whole collection in my DVD section. We aren't ever going to really get to that. We'll kind of when we get to our series, I will talk about that a bit, but there's they've been in dozens of movies. I'm not going to talk about each one individually, but this does a really good job. If you've never been introduced to Laurel and Hardy before, and this is your first introduction to them, this is honestly a really good introduction, because you are getting kind of the behind the scenes of how they were as people, and like they're seeing, you know, they are not the A-listers anymore. They're, you know, just they're, you know, going out to pasture basically, because they even show like one of the now playing movies is a Bud Abbott and Lou Costello. Those were the two. By the time these guys were like on tour and elderly, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello were the two guys that were doing the same thing they were doing. I can't even say they were doing it better. It was just they were doing the same thing. It's just in a different era. It was the 40s and 50s instead of the 20s and the 30s there. But yeah, and we even have Shirley Henderson in this as Hardy's wife, and Nina Arena as Laurel's wife, and they do excellent in their roles as well. I've introduced this one to you. I know you didn't really grow up with any of those type of
really
films. So I'm not. So give your thoughts from somebody that, unlike me, didn't grow up with any of that.
It's a very well acted movie. It does get the story across very well. It's very effective. I'm just not really big into like the slapstick style of comedy, so it does lean pretty heavily into that, because it is like showing, you know, how they were as performers and showing what their acts were. I just don't find that funny. My family personally, we watched more like Mel Brooks, tongue-in-cheek, sarcastic humor, and that's what shaped my sense of humor growing up. And very, very little slapstick. Like, we did not find the slapstick stuff funny, so I've never really been into Laurel and Hardy. But it is John C. Reilly, and I will watch most things with John C. Reilly in it, unless he's playing along with Will Ferrell, because I'm just not a big Will Ferrell person.
That's right.
So I did watch this, one, because you loved it. Two, it's John C. Reilly. I do enjoy John C. Reilly. And I enjoy Shirley Henderson. So, those were kind of my selling points for watching this. It is pretty good from somebody who's not as interested in this storyline. To me, it kind of felt like a movie I would have been made to watch in school and write down facts that you find out as you're watching it, kind of thing. Because we did that a lot. So that's kind of the vibe it gave. Like, this is probably, if you have a kid that refuses to sit down and read a book, but they have to do a project on Laurel and Hardy, this is probably a good starting point.
It's a very family friendly. I mean, to be fair, Laurel and Hardy in general are family friendly films and shorts. So this does not deviate much from that, because by the time they retired, they were both, you know, happily married men, and like, you know, the days of partying and stuff was like way behind them. They were retired.
Yeah, like,
and they were kind of forced out of retirement. And this is true. This is like coming from Laurel's book that he wrote on the biography. This is like in their last days, or at least in Hardy's last days, because he kind of passed away long before Laurel did. Laurel lived a much longer life because he did stay healthy, you know, in general, for longer. So, but he did have a good bit to say on it. So it is based on that there. So yeah, it's not gonna be like, you don't have to worry about like, how is this gonna have like sex or drugs or anything like that. It's not.
It does, because of the actual plot line and actually being part of his life about the health issues. It also does kind of have a bit of a commentary on how Hollywood treated its performers.
Yeah.
Like, if you had a specific look that they wanted for it, you had to keep that look, whether it was overly thin, a la Judy Garland, or bigger and jollier looking, like Hardy. So that is also kind of like an accidental commentary. Like, it's not the point of it, but you do get that across just from knowing the stories that we already know from past performers and seeing this part of it portrayed.
Moving on to Steel Magnolias. It's okay. I didn't grow up with this film. It is very much a Shelby-coded film for more ways than one. So take it away, Shelby.
All right, backstory first. This is where my name came from. My mother saw this movie, was really into this movie. She was pretty young when she had me, and I popped out and she goes, "That's a Shelby." So
named you after the dying
she
one.
named me after the one character in the movie who dies. She is the sweetest character in the entire movie. Second sweetest. The sweetest is Dolly Parton because it's Dolly Parton. But I think she really wanted to raise just a sweet, well brought up young lady. And instead I grew up to be Weezer. Which is Shirley MacLaine.
I don't think any person in their right mind would want to name their kid Weezer.
No, I don't think she set out to want to name me Weezer. It's just the way she inadvertently brought me up.
Oh, yeah.
Turned me into a Weezer. Which, if anyone's seen the movie, she's like this very sassy, very, like, in your face, very...
It's Shirley MacLaine.
It's Shirley MacLaine as a Southern lady.
Yeah.
She's got the best lines in the entire movie. With the exception of Sally Field's speech at, her daughter, which is Shelby's funeral, which that is a scene that makes me bawl every single time. This is another just makes me cry movie. It is a slice of life over several years movie. You're following this core group of women, which is Sally Field's Malin, Dolly Parton's Truvy, Shirley MacLaine's Weezer, Daryl Hannah's Annelle, and Olympia Dukakis's Clary, and then Julia Roberts' Shelby. You're following their lives and their experiences through this set number of years, and it starts with the lead up to Shelby's wedding. Everything's pink, everything's girly, everything's huge because it's this big Southern Belle wedding. And you can tell from the jump that there's something not quite right medically with Shelby, and you find out that it's type 1 diabetes. She has to have some form of glucose in her, usually some kind of like juice or something. And she's warned, do not get pregnant. It's going to make your condition worse. And she really wants to be a mom. And she really wants to have birth the child. So, of course, what happens? She gets pregnant. It makes her condition worse. Between, being the stay-at-home mom and taking care of the kid and not properly taking care of yourself like most women do when they have a very small child, it results in her going into a diabetic coma. And then she does eventually pass away. That is the big chunk of the movie. You are getting bits of the other women's lives. And it is a very, very sad movie because she passes away. She goes into the coma with just her and her toddler child at home. So her husband comes home to the child wailing and his wife passed out on the floor. Which is traumatic to anybody of any age coming into. Like, if you were to come into me, like, passed out on the floor, you'd freak out.
Yeah.
So,
especially if it ended up you being in a coma and then passing away.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Especially if we, like, had a toddler
Yeah.
that was just stuck in there wailing because they're scared and they want mommy and mommy's not getting up.
Yeah.
So, the movie itself, you're following all these just incredible women. They're just, it is like, small town feel. They're, on the grand scheme of things, they're not doing things that, would win them awards or anything or make them like these big famous celebrities for anything. They're very like down home people, but they're incredible people with huge hearts telling these just very true to the area that it's supposed to be in kind of stories. And everyone acts their ass off.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's so well done.
To be fair, it's Sally Fields and Shirley MacLaine.
Yeah.
They do a whether it's this or a Disney film, they do the best.
They really do.
And it's Dolly Parton.
Yeah. Dolly Parton is just always the sweetest.
Yeah. But she can also act.
She can act her ass off. I love Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
You don't come down here and say anything bad about Dolly Parton.
No. There's nothing to say bad about.
There's nothing bad to say about Dolly Parton. Try to say something, we'll fight you. But it's done so incredibly well, and Sally Field's scene at the funeral, just it's instant tears.
Yeah. Alright, so next one is another one of Shelby's films. Again, I don't have much to say on this. I have seen it. It is well acted. I got Julia Roberts and Susan Sarandon in there. And really all I've got to say about it is they do really good acting. And take it away, Shelby.
Alright, this is another one that makes me sob. So, I saw Stepmom at probably a little too early of an age because it made me very, very aware of the horrors of breast cancer. I went into this movie thinking it was just going to be another cute Julia Roberts rom-com because that's kind of how the commercial sold it.
Well, and you think Stepmom, you just think, oh, this movie's going to be about the new mom, and now the divorced mom doesn't like the new mom, but eventually they like each other, which, that is, but then there's that extra layer of one of them is dying.
And the reason that Susan Sarandon starts to accept Julia Roberts is because she's starting to realize she's not going to make it through this, and her kids are going to need a mom. So what starts as her and Julia Roberts like butting heads because, she's now the new woman in her kid's life, and she's not doing things how Susan Sarandon would do them, and the kids are noticing, like, hey, she's fun, and mom is the disciplinarian, and the daughter's, like, really hesitant to accept Julia Roberts because she still thinks mommy and daddy are going to get back together.
And if I recall, there's also the difference of Julia, like, works?
She does. She works.
Susan did not.
I don't think she worked while she was married.
Okay.
She might have worked after the divorce because she has to support the kids.
Right.
But, slowly over the course of the movie, Susan Sarandon starts relying more on Julia Roberts' character to help look after the kids because she is sick, and she's only getting sicker, and they still haven't told the kids she's sick. Like, that's the whole big thing. I believe the daughter kind of knows. It's Jenna Malone's character. I believe the daughter kind of knows. Well, that's another thing. Jenna Malone is in this, and it's, like, the first thing I saw her in, and she's fantastic. Like, she is in everything. And just as the movie goes on, the ending is kind of similar to Family Stone, where it ends where there's a bit of a time jump, and the mom has passed.
Yeah. But it's better than Family Stone.
It is better than Family Stone. This is coming from somebody who enjoys Family Stone. This is better. But the acting in it is very well done. This, I think, is probably my favorite Julia Roberts performance. Like, Steel Magnolias is my favorite Julia Roberts movie, but it's for everybody else in it.
Yeah.
This is, I think, my favorite performance by her. This is where her character is the most likable, the most the most.
I can see
you
that.
Understand her motivations the most.
I can see that.
And the fact that she's playing off of Ed Harris and Susan Sarandon through the whole movie, it helps because she's working with two really strong actors. Yeah. So yeah, this is probably one of the best Julia Roberts movies. And then Susan Sarandon is fantastic in everything she's in. It's really well done. The whole scene where they're putting on their Halloween costumes and the daughter's going as Elvis or something. It's so cute. It's so adorable. It is kind of a holiday movie, but not really, because there are
this is winter themed.
It's winter. It is definitely a cozy month movie.
Alright, next is...
Another me.
Another you. Which one is this?
Step Up.
Oh. This is
the Channing Tatum dancing movie.
One. Yeah. I really don't have any thoughts. I've seen this one. And I can't even say if it's well acted or not, because I've seen it once before, and I didn't block it, I just don't remember it. And I watched it with you, and I don't. It's okay.
That's fine. It's definitely not geared towards guys. I can admit that. It's definitely more. It's definitely more of a romance movie. It's definitely more of a romance drama geared towards teenage girls, but not in the 10 Things I Hate About You aim at teenage girls kind of thing. I do really enjoy it. I love the choreography in this movie. I became obsessed with that final dance scene. So good.
I'm shrugging. You don't see it, but I'm shrugging because I don't remember what the final dance scene was.
I had to download the song off of YouTube. It was one of my first times downloading a song off of YouTube. on my phone for years. I just loved the remix of it. The cast is, it's Channing Tatum. I will watch pretty much anything with Channing Tatum in it.
And he's a really good dancer.
He's a really good dancer. This is where he met his ex-wife. So this is how that whole relationship got started, was this movie. And you can feel it in this movie. Like, you can feel the tension between the two of them in this movie. They do a really good job acting off of each other, but Channing Tatum does carry the movie. There is a decent amount of violence in the movie, because he's supposed to be from the other side of the tracks. There is a scene where he goes to a party with his friends, and the friend's little brother steals a car and ends up getting killed. That is a very, very sad scene and a very big tonal shift.
I was about to say, it kind of feels like, I mean, yeah, they say this all the time that he's from the other side of the tracks.
He's literally from the other side of the tracks.
It just feels so out of place that it just kind of, it's weird that scene happens. And yeah, they kind of go through the motions. Because I do remember that scene, because I'm like, wait, I have seen this film before, because this is from that scene's from that film. But I'm like, just, it's, as you said, it's a tonal shift, and it's like out of nowhere, too.
Well, they did warn him ahead of time, do not come to this party. This is not for someone your age. You need to stay home. Do not follow us out there. And the kid comes anyway. Because he's a tween. He's going to do what he wants to do because he thinks he's invincible. He thinks, nobody's going to hurt me. I'm a kid. And gets proven wrong. And the scene where they're shooting his funeral, that's the reason why this is another crying movie. It does really, really get to me, because I don't do well with scenes where kids die. But the rest of the movie is just so pretty.
Yeah.
And the choreography is so good.
I know you enjoyed that part of the movie.
And then I do really enjoy Mario in this movie, because before this movie, the only thing I knew him from was his song, Let Me Love You. And then to see him kind of playing the character of that song in this movie was kind of really fun.
Alright, so the next film is St. Elmo's Fire. And yeah, I hate this movie because it's basically First World Problems, the movie.
It is.
Everybody's got it. It's a bunch of like early 20s or late teens, early 20s adults that are like all like they have like really nice apartments there. It's not like they're tiny like one room single bathroom. No, these are like almost house size places there. They for the most part got decent paying jobs already, and it's like the woe is me, what is life sort of things. I'm like, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
It is a time capsule.
And one is just like, do I cheat on this person with this person?
Yeah.
Whatever I do, I'm just like, I just want to wring all the little necks. I don't sympathize with anybody. I'm just like, okay, don't give it. And this is my least. It's the worst. What's his name?
Oh, I don't think this is John Hughes.
This is not John Hughes?
Nope.
Not Joel Schumacher. I knew it.
This is the Brat Pack, though. So it is Emilio.
They're being bratty.
It's Emilio Estevez, Rob Lowe, Andrew McCarthy, Demi Moore, Judd Nelson, Ali Sheedy, and Mare Winningham.
Mm-hmm.
It is definitely a full Brat Pack film, without Molly Ringwald. Honestly, Molly Ringwald might have been able to save the movie.
No, she didn't. I'm sorry. She went.
Don't get me wrong. I do find this enjoyable because it's like a nice little time capsule. Also, this was a bit of an awakening for me because Rob Lowe in this movie. Yeah.
I'm sorry. All I see is Rob Lowe, and I just expect him to say, Leslie Knope. Stop
pooping. That is my favorite Rob Lowe.
They say the
role.
First person to live to be 200 has been born. I think that person is me.
Rob Lowe as Chris Traeger was like his best role yet. But I do enjoy a bit of his character in this movie. His character in this movie kind of reminds me of Billy from Stranger Things.
I can see that.
Yeah, not only just aesthetics, but kind of like his whole attitude.
Look and attitude, yeah. Which they might have. Might have been what it
I honestly think every one of the teens and kids in Stranger Things are kind of inspired by someone from like an iconic 80s movie.
Definitely, absolutely.
Either like an iconic figure or an iconic character.
Yeah.
And I think Billy was definitely kind of inspired by Rob Lowe's character in this, because his character in this is even named Billy.
Yeah.
I do see part of the fun of this movie for me is like watching this directly after Breakfast Club, because the differences between Judd Nelson's character in both movies is so stark, and they're both sleazy. So that's kind of the fun for me. This is definitely like a time capsule, oh, you don't know how good you've got it kind of movie. Being a 90s born kid who was raised through the recession, just watching these early 20s complain about their lives and all these like nice things they have, I'm just like, oh sweet babies. Sweet babies, we were lucky if we could find a job.
Yeah. And it's even more of a time capsule nowadays.
Because it's just gotten worse. Yeah. It's just continuously gotten worse. Like, watching this movie is like, you have no idea how good you have it.
Right.
All of your problems are non-problems.
Like, one person is able to, like, afford a home and stuff, and all he does is, like, bartend. Which, yeah, bartenders do make a good bit of money, but, like, even nowadays, I know bartenders that have, like, 2 other jobs.
Yeah, it's not, like, degrading the profession. Yeah. It is making a comment on the fact that y'all had it so easy. Unbelievably, incredibly easy compared to how, not only how our generation, but the generation under us have it. Because we can willingly admit it's just getting worse. Yeah. So that's kind of what makes this movie fun for me, is it's like harkens back to a time before even my time, where things were just easier, and I wish I had that.
You could just have a job at a grocery store and be able to afford a house. I mean, probably not, unless you were like a manager, but still.
But it was still easier than it is today, where even the managers are having to live with multiple roommates and have multiple jobs.
Yeah. 10 Commandments. This is like a classic film. It is by... Scroll it up. It's by Cecil B. DeMille. And also, I don't know how many people know this, but this is a remake. It's the same director remade his own film like 20 years later, because the original is a silent movie, and then he was like, hey, we have sound and we have color now, and we have the ability to do all these. I mean, this was still 60s when this came out, but we still have the ability to do a lot more in the special effects and set design than we were able to do back when I first made this film, so I want to remake it and do it right. George Lucas, this is how you do something like this, please.
Yes.
So he doesn't. So yeah, it is probably the most iconic film for Charlton Heston. Probably like the second or third most iconic film for Yul Brynner, depending on what you were introduced to him. This was the first thing I was introduced to Yul Brynner, so I'm like, of course, he is Ramses.
This was not mine, but we'll get to that much later.
We'll get to that later. There's 4 films that anybody that's ever been introduced to Yul Brynner is introduced through probably one of these 4 films. It's either this, The Magnificent Seven, King and I, or Westworld. It's one of those 4.
Mine was King and I.
So this was mine, and yeah, it is of course a biblical story based on the Book of Exodus. It's about Moses and the Egyptians and the enslavement of the Jews.
Yes.
And Moses was, if you've seen Prince of Egypt,
you know the plot of this movie.
You know the plot of the story. Except this one's like 3 hours long, and like has an intermission, and goes on past them parting the Red Sea. This goes like another 30 to 45 minutes after this. Pretty much almost a good chunk of Exodus. This does start at about the same area, about the him making the decree that all the firstborn Jewish sons should be killed because of the thing that there's going to be like a king that comes and destroys Egypt and stuff. Proclaimed. So of course, and then he gets put in the basket, goes down the river, gets picked up by the queen, and gets basically adopted. And then of course Moses and Ramses grew up as brothers. Moses not knowing his past until way into his adult life, and then does a complete 180 immediately after he discovers that, and basically gets kicked out of Egypt. He kicks himself out of Egypt basically, and then comes across Sephora. I think that's which one is his wife. There,
I believe it's Sephora.
And marries them, and then burning bush tells him, God through the burning bush tells him, you need to go back to Egypt. You are the chosen one to get everybody out of Egypt. I'm here. I will tell you exactly what to do, and through the powers shown through you, you will be able to get them all free. And it goes through all the plagues. It doesn't show all the plagues. It does mention them kind of offhand, because again, this was the 60s, so you couldn't really do stuff like the frogs and the flies in the darkness to the extent you could do them like nowadays, or even how they did them, of course, in Prince of Egypt.
So this would be a good candidate for a modern remake in terms of...
This really would. Have you
I have seen this one.
Okay.
It is very well done, of course, because it's Charlton Heston and Yul Brynner. It's going to be very well acted. They are phenomenal performers.
Exactly.
So that alone is worth the watch. The only reason I would say go in with caution with children is not because of the content. It's because of the runtime.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to...
As I said, it's got an intermission.
If you know your kid does not have a big enough attention span to really handle a long movie, maybe just show them Prince of Egypt.
Yeah. Also, this is not a musical.
It's not a musical.
But
this is a straight film.
The 3 hours minus the intermission, it really goes by pretty quickly. Every time I watch this film, I forget
it's 3 hours long.
That it's that long. I just assume oh shoot! By the time I get to the intermission, I'm like, we're already halfway through this film.
Yeah. If you do have a kid that's decent with run times, I'd go ahead and let them watch it. Or if you have a kid where you kind of are ready for them to take a nice long nap, because it might not be the most interesting to a little kid, but if you get them in just the right spot, they might just go to sleep.
Yeah.
That's not to say the movie's not great. The movie is great. I just know how toddlers behave.
But going as just as your perspective,
I do really enjoy this movie. But I do prefer Prince of Egypt. But that's just, I am a sucker for a really well done musical.
Yeah.
And that's probably also why...
I will say, comparing, contrasting the two, there's some things that Prince of Egypt did a lot better, one of them being the plagues, than Ten Commandments.
Oh, that whole
and then,
scene.
Of course, Ten Commandments was able, because it wasn't made by DreamWorks and was not made, or, aimed at kids, it was able to get
deeper into the
story and be able to show them more things that they would not have been able to show off in Prince of Egypt. So there's pros and cons for both.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those, use your common sense when deciding at what point to watch either one with your family.
Yeah.
Both are great. Both have their merits. Both have their disadvantages. I am just more partial to the animated movie.
Yeah.
Just because, one, it's what I grew up on. And 2, I am a sucker for a really well done musical. And 3, I can enjoy a very long movie, but if there's a shorter version of it that I prefer more, I'm gonna deviate to that.
Next movie is Walk the Line. This is again one of the best biographical film, musical biographical movies to ever come out. I did see this after I had seen the Dewey Cox Walk Hard movie. So yeah, I still kind of some scenes I'm just like, that's from that movie. But, I mean, it's Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon, so I don't really have any notes there. If you really like Johnny Cash, or you just are interested in his music, this is probably the best or you want to get introduced to him. This is probably a good introduction to him. But this is one of your favorite films.
It is. This is kind of the movie that really, really sparked. Like, Selena started my interest in musical biopics. But then there were so many people I recognized just in the trailers for Walk the Line that I was already interested in. Like, I was aware of who Jennifer Goodwin was. I already loved Reese Witherspoon. I already was aware of Joaquin Phoenix. And then, oddly enough, the actor that got me really interested in this movie, even though he's only in like 10 minutes of it, is Tyler Hilton, because I'm a One Tree Hill girly, and then to find out he's playing Elvis was kind of perfect. He does a good Elvis. So just the fact that he's only really in like collectively 10 minutes of the movie, but he's still insanely entertaining and still doing pretty well up against the powerhouse that is Joaquin Phoenix was really good. It's got a kind of like really funny monologue about when God gave us the apple that just makes me chuckle every time. Joaquin Phoenix as Johnny Cash is not only just really fun to watch, like he does great at it, but it's also really effective at getting the storyline across. I love that it's told in a frame narrative. Like, you start with him at Folsom Prison and you like the story catches back up with him telling his label, I'm doing this. I'm going to record this there. Deal with it. Because at this point, he's been the big star. He can kind of call the shots that he wants to. And it also is nice to watch the actor playing his dad go from like this straight up abusive hard ass to slowly, over the course of the movie, softening. To the point where you get where Johnny and June have gotten their stuff together, they've blended their families, and you've got this scene at the end where everybody's all together for either a holiday or a family reunion or something, and one of Johnny's biological children and one of June's children are playing together, and they like bring Johnny's dad like the little cup on the end of the string to like do the phone call with, and he just goes, "Hey, grand girls," and just like immediately is accepting June's kids into the family. It's a very sweet moment. They do not shy away from the drug abuse of it all. They do like highlight that. They show how it affects Johnny and June's relationship. It's a big part of the reason why they didn't just stay together the whole time. The fact that it's another one where, you know, you can hear that it's Joaquin doing the singing because it does not sound like Johnny Cash, but he acts it so well. He acts it so well, and then Reese Witherspoon as June Carter Cash was fantastic. Just everyone in it is so well done. They do pull, because I believe Shelby Lynn is Loretta Lynn's granddaughter. So them pulling in like a piece of country music history to not just come be in the movie, or at least, you know, a descendant of country music history to come be in the movie is a really good, you know, callback to that era. And it's just done so well, and it's so interesting to watch. And this is the movie that like really sold me on Joaquin Phoenix as an actor. So this is one of the ones where most of the movies he's in, I'll sit and watch. He does have a few weird ones, but this is definitely one of the stronger ones.
Yep. The next is What's Eating Gilbert Grape. And my God, if the amount of times Family Guy has ruined a movie for me, this is one of them.
Yeah.
Because I saw that scene with the squirrels first, and then I saw this, and I laughed at the scene I shouldn't have laughed at.
Yeah, you really did. You really did.
But it is Johnny Depp. It mainly is Johnny Depp as the main character, but this was like the first breakout role, movie-wise, for Leonardo DiCaprio. He was already in a show by then, really well known, but this was like the one that they showed, oh, he can do movies too. and yeah, he does play a mentally handicapped person there, and yeah, we don't do that anymore. But it was the 80s or the 90s,
early
90s. So that's kind of what we did, unfortunately. But putting that aside, it's a fine movie. I mean, but everybody's acting as best as they can in it. It's not really one I would recommend to anybody. It's just kind of like, if you want to see like early Johnny Depp and early Leonardo DiCaprio, sure, but there's also like better movies for both of them to watch their acting chops on. The story's just about this Southern family and them having to deal with the issues that they have with one of the family members being mentally handicapped and them being not that well off of a family in general. And there's some side stories that are just about like small town things that happen, along with Johnny Depp being hit on by an adult married woman that just feels weird and out of place in the movie. But whatever. This is like on the same end as like Edward Scissorhands, where it's like just a weird, slice of life kind of movie there with some like characters, and it just happens to have Johnny Depp in it again. But this is not a Tim Burton film, so it's not as weird, but at the same time it is, if that makes sense.
It does.
But yeah, so yeah, there's a scene where, because the mom's overweight and she does pass away on her bed, and so and Leonardo's character is the first one that meets her. And yeah, if you've seen that episode of Family Guy with the squirrel being kind of stupid and talking to the dead fat squirrel in the tree, this is that movie. And yeah, I did laugh. So moving on.
Yeah, so back to you laughing at that particular scene in this movie. I think I glared at you as hard in this one as I did when you bust out laughing in Dear Evan Hansen.
Yeah, I deserve it in this one.
Because with this one, okay, so the difference between you busting out laughing here and busting out in Dear Evan Hansen. The Dear Evan Hansen one was a gradual chuckle to a guffaw.
Because
this one, it was just a loud, huh! just one of those involuntary, ha!
Because, again, I just like, wait a second. This is that scene.
You did, and I'm just looking at you like, you did not just laugh here. I'm like all teary-eyed and upset, and you're laughing.
And it's not played up for laughs at all.
It's not.
This is the most dramatic scene, and then after that, it gets sad. And it's kind of weird and out of place too, because for the most of the movie, it's not lighthearted, but it's pretty semi-upbeat. There's some family drama, but it's not like...
That's kind of why the death is effective.
Yeah,
because, the family's doing the best they can, and they're finding the best in every situation that they can, and then this horrible situation happens.
Yeah, and I get that. It just... Because it was out of nowhere, and also because I had seen the scene from Family Guy, it just was a perfect storm of, like... Ha!
And, 90% of the performances in this movie are really well done. Everyone's really giving it the all that they can. There's one actor in this who... It's the only one that every time she pops on screen, I'm like, just get off my screen. And that's Juliette Lewis. I don't buy her in this movie at all.
I'm trying to remember. She's the girl in the RV?
She's the Juliette Lewis. The only other movie that we own with her in it, I believe, is Christmas Vacation.
Oh, so she's the girl in the RV.
Oh, in the RV. I thought you said girl in RV, as in the movie RV. No.
She's the kind of the love interest for Johnny, and that's who they eventually go off into the sunset with, basically.
But that's just Juliette Lewis in general. The only movie I've seen her work in is Christmas Vacation.
And her type of acting works better in Christmas Vacation because she's like the dry, straight person to everybody else's shenanigans.
That's all she knows how to do.
Yeah.
But But everyone else, does the absolute best with what they're given.
Even John C. Reilly.
You buy the family dynamic. You understand, you buy from the first time you see this group of people together that they are a family and they are struggling. Mm-hmm. And they're just trying to do the best they can and handle the situations that are thrown at them. Which, if that's not the story of small town America, where you're just doing the best you can with the situation you've been handed. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what makes the movie work.
This isn't a bad movie per se. It's just, there's the elephant in the room that is Leo's acting.
Yeah.
Because,
we have learned since then.
Yeah, but it took like 30 years to do so. 30-something years to do so.
Yeah, because unfortunately, if people still find something even mildly entertaining, they're just going to keep doing it the way they've been doing it.
Yeah.
So it took people, getting older and sensibilities changing and people going, that's not funny, for this stuff to start changing.
That's not right. It wasn't even he's played up for laughs there, but it's like this. It's radio and a couple, thousands of other movies where it's like, instead of actually getting a mentally handicapped, mentally challenged person, I don't know the correct word, I apologize in advance to say, but it's like, instead of getting, because they're just humans like us.
They're just people.
And you just, instead of having one of them act, you have somebody like Leo or like Cuba Gooding Jr.
But it did show Leo's dedication to the craft.
Yeah, it did.
It did show he's willing to do what it takes.
Yep. And then he didn't get an Oscar until, what's it called? The Bear, the Wild, or whatever.
The Revenant?
The Revenant.
Which wasn't even his best movie.
It wasn't. We digress. Alright, what's love got to do with it? Okay. It is a music biopic based off of Tina Turner, starring Angela Bassett and Lawrence Fishburne. Okay, when I was talking way back when we were talking about Silver Linings Playbook, and I was saying over the top acting, and that's what kind of ruined the film for me. This is the same thing here. It is just really over the top for both of them. And the thing is, I've seen them, they're both fantastic actors. And in this, I'm I get what they were trying to do, and I think it's just a directorial thing. Because why they're acting so over the top with some of these scenes, I have no clue, and it kind of took me out of the movie, because I'm what are y'all doing here?
I mean, there are some scenes where you thought it was overacted that I thought were actually kind of realistic, and it's usually the abuse scenes.
It wasn't even the abuse scene. The abuse scenes, I'm alright, that's fine. That's unfortunate that that's how that happens, and that is the... It wasn't even those. It was some of just the regular scenes where I'm just what are y'all doing? That just took me out of the film. I was yeah, it's a fine film. I don't know if there's been any other movies about Tina Turner's life.
I don't know about movies, but there is a jukebox musical.
Yeah, I know that. But I mean, being a biopic about her life, I think this would be one that if these said tomorrow there's going to be a new Tina Turner movie in the next 2 or 3 years, I'd be please.
I wouldn't be surprised if we were to get a new one soon, considering she did pass a couple years ago.
She did.
But I do enjoy this one because I love Tina Turner.
No, she's fine, and I'm I like her music. It's just this was not. I don't think it was an adequate portrayal. In my opinion. This
is another example of the biopics get better over time. When this was made, it was not like the heyday for the biopics.
This was 2000. So yeah. Nope. No, this was 1993. Yeah. It got a lot better.
They do get a lot better. But Angela Bassett was a good choice for her. Angela Bassett is insanely talented.
This is perfect casting across the board.
I do think the script could have been tighter.
It really should have. And it really, I don't know. And I don't know much about her life outside of this film, so
it did get a good bit of the from what I have known that has been released. It did get a lot of the big moment.
Yeah, and I get that, and that's fine.
And
I just think it was a little over the top for for the two main actors, and I was just like, it felt weird. So, but I mean, if you're into Tina Turner, check it out. Next is Where the Heart Is.
This was a surprise. I didn't think you were gonna like this one.
But then you gotta realize, I like slice of life movies.
You do.
I like My Neighbors the Yamadas. I pretty much most of Hayao Miyazaki's films are slice of life. Yes, they're slice of life with fantasy, but
they're slice of life. Which is probably why I like them too.
It doesn't have to be a big adventure. It can just be in the backyard or your little small town kind of thing. Just a handful of cast just dealing with life and them growing up. This one has Natalie Portman gives birth to a baby in a Walmart, and she gets kind of famous for that. And so it's kind of it takes a village to raise a kid, kind of literally. And so it literally is about the librarian and a bunch of people that she just kind of pass through her life, where she meets
the whole town takes her
in, and it starts from Natalie Portman from when she was pregnant up to the kid being about 5 years old, and it just takes you little bits and pieces of every year raising her and how the town changes, how the people changes, her finding new love, her friends finding new love. It's really sweet, and it's a very simple story, and it's told very well. It's acted very well. I mean, outside of course, Natalie Portman, you do have Joan Cusack. You've got Ashley Judd.
Stockard Channing. Which her scenes got the biggest laughs out of you. Like, you thought Sister Husband was hilarious.
She was great. So, yeah, this was a great little slice of life film that I was not aware of until Shelby showed it to me. And she was like, I want you to show this film, but please don't make fun of it. I'm like, I'll try not to, because it really depends on the movie for me, for Natalie Portman, if she does well in it or not.
This is my favorite Natalie Portman movie.
I would probably have to agree with you on that. Like, yeah, she's been in a lot, but like this is like one. It really does show off her acting capabilities as an adult. That isn't Star Wars, and that isn't a comedy type of thing. This is very much just a straight up drama.
It has a good bit of comedy in it,
but it's not a dramedy. It's
not
like there's some sadness,
especially not with like Lexi's storyline. Yeah, no. Oh man, I will say use some caution going into this if you have any kind of a history with domestic violence or SA, because there is a very heavy element of that with one of the side characters, Lexi.
Yeah.
It can be a bit triggering. It is a moment for me that, it wrecks me every time we watch it. Yep. And that's why when I told you about this movie and said I wanted to show it to you, I was like begging you not to make fun of it.
And I didn't. I didn't have to, because
it's so well done.
It's such a well done movie. Your thoughts, because yours did the.
I
you've
love
been
this
the kind
movie.
of been saying it with me, but like, this is one of your films.
It is. I do love that, with the exception of Sister Husband, all of the characters that you are rooting for in the movie have a happy ending. Mm-hmm. I will go. This is a 25-year-old movie. If you haven't seen it by now, oh well.
I gotta say, this 25-year-old movie was like 24 at the time I saw it, and I had never even heard of it. So don't do spoilers.
I'm gonna give one.
Give one spoiler, but don't spoil the whole.
No. You will get attached to Sister Husband as you're watching, because it's like the first.
Oh yeah.
Well, one of the first characters that she like really attaches to. She lives with her for a while, and a tornado comes through, because I believe they're in like Tornado Alley.
They are.
And Sister doesn't make it.
Yeah.
she does end up passing. So that is like the first moment in the movie that really gets me. And then there is the DV and abuse storyline that is told with Lexi.
Yeah.
There is a very, very sweet scene at the tail end of that storyline. Yeah. And it's, the whole thing is just really sweet.
It as much as there's sadness, it really does end on a good note for everybody else in the film.
Yeah.
All right.
Last one.
Cool. Again, this is another one that is in the drama because of, how it's acted and everything. But technically, if you wanted to put it in your horror genre, I would totally understand that as well. This is Zodiac, starring The Incredible Hulk, Iron Man, and Mysterio. So it stars Robert Downey Jr., Jake Gyllenhaal, and Mark Ruffalo. It also has
Dr. Green from ER,
and Brian Cox, and a whole bunch of other people. And this is about the Zodiac Killer that was famous in the 60s leading up through the...
I don't think he was still active in the 70s, but we're still trying to decipher the ciphers.
We are. And we never found...
I don't think we're ever going to fully find it, because they do highlight the most likely suspect.
Yes.
And that's like the only Zodiac suspect that is named in the entire movie, and that's Arthur Lee Allen.
Played by John Carroll Lynch, who is a fantastic actor. He's kind of one of those ones that is like under the radar for a lot of people, but like every movie I've seen him in, he acts his butt off, and I'm like, yeah, more people need to pay attention to him. But I think he likes it that way because he gets to do more interesting stuff. Like, okay, I think most people, if you haven't seen Zodiac, you probably know him as one of the two brothers from The Founder, the McDonald's movie. He's one of those. He's the older brother of the two of them in that, and he does fantastic there. But getting back to this, he's fantastic in this just from the like one scene that we have with him, and it's just like But this is the movie that a lot of people talk about, the basement scene.
Yes.
Because it is, it's by David freaking Fincher. He knows how to do suspense to a T. And this is, that scene specifically, but the entire movie is just oozes with suspense, but it's like perfect suspense. Like, it's not faking you out. There's no jump scares. There's not like
there's not a single jump
villain.
scare.
I mean, there is a villain that's the killer, but there's not like a Scooby-Doo kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then of course you've got Jake Gyllenhaal being the main actor, and main person. He starts out as a cartoonist at this newspaper, but he's really the one on the ball trying to figure out
who Zodiac
is, and kind of even helps out with some of the earlier decipherings. You've got Mark Ruffalo, who's the inspector, being the cop on that other side of the story, trying to do the detective work, and him and Jake kind of butting heads because Jake's not a detective.
And he's inserting himself in an active investigation, which is a big no-no.
And then there's Robert Downey Jr., he's basically the lead writer at the paper, and kind of takes Jake under his wing when he sees that he is really getting into that. But because Jake gets so into it, so does Robert, and Robert kind of gets a little too into it, and it kind of messes him up to where by the end of the movie, he wants nothing to do with it whatsoever, and lives in a boat.
But to be fair, if you were working, even just as a reporter, working on a case, one this big, that just there was no hint of it being solved in any time soon, would that not affect your mental health?
No, I totally understand. I totally get it, and I totally see why that character would end up that way. But yeah, so but it does have most of the most of the male MCs in there for some odd reason. And it's just a great film. As we usually do watch this one like every other Halloween year. It is a really good Halloween film if you want a suspenseful film that's not a straight up horror film, because we never caught I'm sure by now the guy is dead because this happened in the 60s, so he's either dead or very elderly. Your thoughts, because this is one you introduced to me.
So, again, the cast is not what got me into watching this movie. What got me into watching this movie is I have been a true crime girly since elementary school. So I went into this already knowing at least the basic facts of the Zodiac case. And already aware of, the prime suspect, of who, it's widely believed it's most likely, but we will never fully know because he has passed.
Yeah.
But like going into this and, seeing recognizable actors as I'm watching this movie was really cool.
Yeah.
Because honestly for me, going into this movie, I was aware of Jake Gyllenhaal. I was aware of Mark Ruffalo. I was aware of Robert Downey Jr. I was more aware of Anthony Edwards because of ER. Also, and Top Gun. My parents did watch Top Gun a good bit. But ER was like the precursor to Grey's. The ER to Grey's pipeline was a straight line. But it's really well told. And it does keep like that mystery alive the whole way through. So if you're not aware of the Zodiac case, when you get to the end and they let you know it's never been solved, it's like a slap in the face. Because you're used to movies like this where it's based.
We found him.
It's based on true story. Just the script scroll at the end of it that gives you like the little bit of info after of going, and it was such and such person caught this way.
And he's been in jail since this, and he passed away in this, and nope.
It's
just like.
The Zodiac has never been caught.
Found. Yep. And that is it for the dramas. So, let us know down in the comments. Have you seen any of these films, and what are your thoughts on them? Did you enjoy any of them? And, of course, everybody's going to have their own thoughts, so if you don't agree with me and Shelly, that's fine. This is just us giving our thoughts on movies that we own. Starting next month, we'll go to a whole nother genre. This time it's going to be fantasy, which is one of my bread and butter things. So
and for the most part, lighter than what we've been talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, and as I said at the beginning, these come out at the end of every month, so we'll see ya at the end of January. Until next time, thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Hope 2025 was kind to you, and hope your 2026 is even better.
Oh, and also remember, for those who are just watching all my videos, I will be taking a break from January until beginning of March. Videos after that will be coming out bi-weekly instead of weekly, and those will be getting start back up at the beginning of March. So if you're looking forward to those, that is the new schedule and that is the new timeline. Until then, have a nice day.
Bye, everyone.